What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. Cloud saves aren't just a move and smash anymore. That's right. Nintendo has officially launched its balloon fighters into the fabled Save Data Cloud backup. At least they will, supposedly, this September. However, just like the great Cloud Strife, this Nintendo Cloud also comes behind a paywall and perhaps will incite some Sephiroths of its own. We'll be omnislicing our way through all the latest info from Nintendo's upcoming online service, as well as all the other latest Nintendo news and rumors, so stay tuned. Alright, tonight we're going to do things a little differently, and we're actually going to start off with the big news. So, of course, the breaking news is Nintendo Switch Online. Just came up last night. We finally got the details on their website. And it's not complete, but it's definitely more than what we had. So, I don't know where we want to start at, but probably the biggest news is the NES games that have been confirmed so far that we'll get to play and how that will work.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, we can start there. I think cloud saves are. I don't know. Those are kind of hard to describe because it's like they're important, but you're only ever going to need them if something goes wrong. Like, but yeah, NES collection. So they said there's gonna be 20 games.
That's right.
And they've only announced 10 of them.
Yeah. And they're all. I mean, aside from Zelda and Mario, they're all kind of. Yeah, they're just kind of generic meh ones. But as far as cloud saves go, I was slow to jump in. I disagree. I mean, there's more to cloud saves than just disaster recovery. Theoretically, if you have cloud saves, then you can sync up stuff. Like, for example, if I log in to if I go over to my friend's house and we're playing a multiplayer game on his console, I could theoretically access my save from his console, right? I could theoretically use my character with my character's stats in his Smash Brothers, or vice versa, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, cloud saves enable a lot of that kind of thing that we don't have currently. We've never had. That was always the thing, right? Remember in the Wii era? Oh, you'd be able to take your Mii with you, whatever. We can copy it to your Joy-Con and whatever, but it didn't keep your play stats. It didn't keep any of that stuff. Now, theoretically, you can do that.
That's a really interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Originally, it was the Wiimote, and now with the Amiibo, but they've never quite fully enabled that functionality. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say that's an interesting thing to bring up because right now we've got things like Splatoon tournaments, and I've always thought if you wanted to take your own gear, if they allow you to bring your own gear with you, you would have to do it through an Amiibo, but possibly through cloud saves, you could, download your, profile basically to the tournament there.
Would Nintendo ever make it that easy on people?
I doubt it.
Like, I think the only way you're going to be able to put your save data on somebody else's machine is if you log out of their thing and log in as yourself, and then they wouldn't have their stuff to use. Like, I don't know that they'll actually allow two people to coexist on one Switch.
I'm just saying, keeping this data online enables more options. It's like having the Pokebank all of a sudden makes all these Pokemon games a lot more functional, as opposed to having to trade individually, or share stuff, copy stuff between cartridges. Now, having this online capability, you know what I mean? There's more to it than just saving your game, is all I'm saying.
It's a Pokebank for every game.
Yeah, theoretically. And there's
you're paying $20
stuff that they can do with that, right? If they're tracking if they're keeping copies of your saves, then they can theoretically do more direct, achievement tracking and things like that they're not currently doing.
See how far along in the game people go.
Yeah, it just seems to open the door to a lot of potential things that, as you said, Nintendo tends to do that. They have some great new idea that's got a lot of potential, and then they just kind of half-ass it, and you never see much more of it, like Miitomo or these other ones that are, this is a great idea. They could do this, that, even the Wiimotes, right? It's like, what a neat idea. And then there are just so few games that really took full advantage of the full motion controls.
And they're locking it behind a paywall. So
the
only way you have any access to your save data or to recover your save data with Nintendo is a paywall, where all the other systems allow you to do something else, be it put it on an SD or transfer it to something. Nintendo's got you trapped on the paywall.
speaking of transferring, this will probably also help with system transfers if the Switch 2 does inevitably come out.
Well, that's what I thought. Unless something goes wrong or you're upgrading to the next iteration of the system, you're never really going to use your cloud saves, probably.
Which
I don't
is,
think
well,
Nintendo
hey, multi 3DS owners, all of us, dude, we'll use it. We'll use it.
Well, just talking about backups there, I want to mention too that I think all of us have probably backed up our 3DS at some time on the computer, so it's definitely something.
Yeah.
I have, at least. Well, used to regularly, but
although isn't that's on an SD card still?
It is.
Yeah. So you can still pop, but here's what I understand though: if your 3DS ever dies, that SD card does you nothing.
No. Yeah.
Right? Isn't it? It's like got some crypto key, so it's locked to your old 3DS. So yeah, I mean it makes you feel good that you're backing up your data, and you are like, if I've had SD cards just straight up crap out on me in the past in a phone or something. So I it's good to back it up, but if your 3DS ever dies, it does you nothing. That's all. That data is just sitting there with no home.
Conveniently, this cloud save stuff all happens also after the warranty is up for any original Switch owners that might have had issues and lost all their save data previously. But yeah, I guess moving on, it's good.
You know what I mean? It seems like because we brought this up before, and I think the podcast kind of came up in this new era of Nintendo where I just expect them to screw me now.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? It used to be whenever there was a situation where it's like, oh, maybe Nintendo will give us something, maybe they won't. There was always something, you know what I mean? We always felt like we would get something out of Nintendo. And now you just feel like if there's any opportunity to give something away to the consumer whatsoever, fuck no. It will not.
Hey, you need to pay attention to the screen right now and look at the very last light gray. There's going to be special offers.
Yeah, we know.
You will very likely see 5 or 10% off of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, so that it'll be the same price it was on Wii U when it launched.
Note how colorful the other headings are. Special offers is this white on light gray, white on beige or whatever. You can barely even see the text. Like, this is obviously the least important thing, and it's also, I'll point out, to me it looks like the color of those platinum coins, so we know what that means.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking this is bringing my Nintendo into the online service, which we know is happening.
Yeah, no, special deals and offers for members, that's just accepted. I mean, free shit for members, that's just expected, right? From every other console, if you are paying for their online service, you're getting free games every month, just outright free games. Nintendo's announced nothing of the sort.
We're getting the Nintendo Entertainment System Nintendo Switch Online, which is way cooler sounding than Virtual Console.
You know what? When Reggie announced, oh, you'll get a game, you get to play a game for a month, and then maybe you can buy it or whatever, and then next month it'll be a new game. Why the hell can't we go back to that? Like, this subscription sounds terrible to me.
Well, it says, I do want to point out there, it does say more games added regularly.
Yeah.
Not games alternating out or switching out. So.
Yeah, I joked earlier about how Nintendo was tired of hearing people say that, I don't want to have to rebuy the same games that I already bought on 2 other systems. And they said, okay, we'll just solve that. Now you can rent them for $20 a year.
Now you just can't buy them at all. Yeah, no, right. To me, that's like, and maybe there will still be an option to purchase them, but I can already tell based on their verbiage there won't be.
No, it seems like this is a new thing now. It's like
their new thing. They
Netflix.
Exactly. And I remember years ago people saying, why can't there be a Netflix like Virtual Console? I remember people calling for this here and there.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, you people are fucking idiots. Like, I mean, again, we're collectors. I want my games. I don't want to be beholden to Nintendo's service that they can pull the plug on in any moment, because I no longer trust Nintendo as a company to not screw me. Like I said,
or in the future when they kill when they kill the online servers and everything, it's like all of a sudden you've lost access to all the virtual console stuff on
like
on Switch.
This is good for them and bad for us. And this is every decision they've made since killing the Wii U, basically. Is what can we do to our customers and our fan base to eke a few more bucks out of them and make them feel like we're assholes? Like, that seems to be their company mantra these days.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I mean, I don't mind it, I guess. Like, I've already got those games. Obviously, anyone who wants can emulate any of these games. But yeah, the launch titles, they're soccer. Like, soccer's the one they lead off with. Everyone remembers how much they loved soccer and tennis. Tennis isn't bad.
They've done this, like they did this on the Wii U. They started off with rinky-dink crap because they know people will buy it because it's the only thing available. Right. In this case, though, it's like you're launching your premier subscription service and you're launching it with crap. Like,
will this finally get versus Super Mario Brothers off the bestseller list?
Maybe
Super Mario Brothers is one of these launch titles. Sorry, go ahead.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Well, no, but it won't, because nobody can buy it. It's not going to be on the bestseller list.
Well, to you, that's a big thing. No, I just meant, will people stop buying the Versus one when this one's available for the $20
fair
rental fee?
Probably. And I think that's.
But your big thing is you want to own it. You want to know that you have it and it's always there.
Yeah, exactly.
Save Backup Online, that kind of opens it up to where we could finally have the virtual console that would follow you from generation to generation. But
exactly. I mean, right.
That's the bullet they're dodging, I think. Is what they're
they don't want it's like Disney, right? They want to present to you their product on their terms. It's I don't know, but it's anybody who's a Nintendo fan has been a Nintendo fan since the old days, right? And we are collectors. We have you know what I mean? All of us have our old games and consoles and whatever, not necessarily all of them, but you know what I mean. All of them have old games that we kept because this was a great game, and you will still bust it out every so often. You'll still hop back in there and just play it for the hell of it.
Looking at you, Turtles in Time.
Yeah, right. I mean, we've all got those games, and like for me, is what's on my Wii U and what was on my Wii are all those old games that I still will want to bust out every once in a while. And I just don't like the idea of it being in because I guarantee you there will be things that will come and go, and it's going to be like your standard Netflix rotation.
Yeah,
there'll be third-party licenses that are good for this year but not next year, right?
I don't know how that's all going to work. If they'll, I mean, with third parties for sure. I think the Nintendo stuff will always be there. And this kind of also, I guess we can roll into the topic of Nintendo basically has confirmed that virtual console is not a thing that they plan on having. I mean, technically this kind of is a virtual console, but they've basically have said that they're not planning on having a virtual console on the Switch. There's no plans.
And all that technically means is they're not using that name. But what I think everyone's taken that to mean, and it probably does mean, is that you won't be able to individually purchase the games.
Yep.
What I'm wondering is, does this mean
you individually purchased on your Wii U will not transfer over?
Does this mean down the road that they'll say, and for $5 more, you can have the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Nintendo Switch Online, and then for just blah blah blah, you can have the Nintendo 64. $20 includes the Nintendo Entertainment System, and then for just a little bit more, you get access to this next tier.
I would be an a la carte system for some of that stuff.
Yeah,
I would expect that Nintendo's going to have more than one straight subscription service. Because we know, I mean, right? we know that their ultimate goal, because they know that, like, they've given hints of this and people have been clamoring for it forever. The ultimate goal is to have every historical Nintendo console accessible, or games from every console. Right? They almost got there. They almost got there with the Wii U. I think now finally they're to the point they've got a powerful enough piece of hardware. They pretty much can emulate everything from the Wii on back, and Wii U. They've already they already have a Wii U virtual console on the Switch. It's the Switch library. Right. So the Wii U's covered, but I think you know what I mean. I think they can get everything, and I don't know why they didn't do, why they did it so weird and piecemeal on the Wii U versus the 3DS, and that was what it was. But now that it's a unified system, they know it's time. Everyone knows it's time. It's going to happen. So how is that going to be rolled out? And I think you may very well be right that we'll have like a SNES and an N64 subscription service. I still do think they will sell individual Wii and GameCube games, though. Somehow I think
the other thing that sucks, it feels like we're starting from scratch again. Every virtual console, it's like they build this library. I mean, people right now would be just like we were with the Wii U, begging for the Wii virtual console. Now we're begging for the Wii U virtual console compared to something like this, like 20 games to launch. I mean, I know that's launch, but then where's my Super Metroid? When do I get how many years do I have to wait for my Super NES games to come out?
I think years is a good point to bring up, because I wonder if this won't be updated yearly with the subscription service, or maybe get something a little bit along the way. But I'm wondering if this is going to be the first titles for this year, and then you subscribe to the second year, let us introduce these games. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I would bet. Here's what I will bet. I think there's probably some accuracy to what you're saying, Jason, because it's right. They're launching it basically at the beginning of the Christmas season, right? So every year that's going to be a big promotion period. So every year, I would imagine they're going to be rolling out some goodies to try to entice people to right? Because there will always be those people that will pay for a year and then be done. So at each yearly loop, they'll be throwing out things to entice people to resubscribe, because that will be the primary time that most people's subscriptions will come up, is during that launch period.
Yeah.
So I figure, to a degree, you're probably right, Jason, where they're going to throw out some offers like, pay for the next year and you get this, and this that are new. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see some of that. But I mean,
maybe we can have access to an exclusive NES game through My Nintendo Rewards.
We all know that we're going to pay the $20 every year.
Yeah.
That's just, that's a no-brainer. We know, and the folks who aren't currently on our podcast tonight that normally join are the same. Everybody we know in our circle, just about, with maybe one or two exceptions, are just this no-brainer. $20 a year is like, that's, I mean, we'd pay that to touch Reggie's hand. So, right.
I still wonder why in that list the first 4 that they list are the least intriguing ones.
They think they need to do that with everything. Start small, start slow. That's how. Remember, like the first few games for the virtual console were these unbeloved crap on the Wii U, that like Wario's Woods and crap. Like, who cares?
And then, of course, the other big part of this is the as you see down there, the play together even when you're far apart. Right. Which for like something like Dr. Mario, like I could see a couple, us going, especially if it's just included in the service. Like I could be like, hey, you want to fire up Dr. Mario just to say we did it? But some of these things, Legend of Zelda,
the watching thing, man.
So
Mario.
it's you basically you can watch me play Zelda, and then when I get bored or you get bored of watching, I can pass you the controller and I can watch you play. And we can voice chat on the smartphone app, because obviously we're going to use that to chat rather than anything else if we even wanted to.
Well, that is. Here's the thing. I get what they're trying to do, right? Everybody did this as a kid. where you would just hang out with your friend and you guys would play through Super Mario Brothers 3 or whatever and just kind of take turns. So it's like, and it's totally what you have griped about for years, Mo. It's like they always have these cool multiplayer features, but local only. So this is exactly them doing in their way what you've been asking for. And it's
asked for it on Virtual Console.
Well,
I asked for it in fucking Mario Party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's like I said, it'll be cool to be able to do some of these things.
It's also just such a weird. It just doesn't seem. It seems like a half-assed. Like that's an idea they're throwing out because they couldn't come up with anything else. Go ahead, Jason.
This brings up a concern for me, though. Will these games be limited to online only?
Like, will you have to be connected to play them?
Continuous connection.
Like our beloved Miitomo or Mario Run.
That's right.
Anything
I didn't even think
of
that's another crappy reason I don't like this. I didn't even think about that. I have to. I bet you you're going to have to be connected to some sort of internet.
Although you know what, like Spotify does, and probably Netflix as well, has like an offline download thing
mode,
where it's like you have to check in every 30 days or so.
But Nintendo, you think Nintendo's like that they're going to do?
Well, and here's the thing:
it's hard to say.
Download to your actual system, and with its limited memory, it's taking up precious space. So
but virtual. Remember, these NES games are like kilobytes.
Take up no space. Yeah,
they're nothing. So with NES games, I mean, maybe that's part of the logic of it. Actually, is they are such tiny downloads that it wouldn't really be a big deal.
But with the Switch being a take on the go mode. With it being an on-the-go console, and that's like one of the big sell points, you would think it'd be pretty boneheaded of them, but this is Nintendo.
Well, that's the thing is just my mindset these days is everything with Nintendo is I expect them to screw us.
Yeah.
I expect everything to have some caveat or catch or gotcha that you're not getting the value you think you were getting when you signed up.
For $1 per game.
That's very much anti the old Nintendo, right?
Yep.
Like there was never that sense with when you made a Nintendo purchase that, okay, what's the fucking catch here? What are they going to screw me on? And that's pretty much everything with Nintendo now. There's always some BS they're not telling you.
You ever play Ghostbusters for NES? You get screwed. Sorry.
Well, okay.
For $1 a game, you get to rent these 20 great titles for a year.
What do you think?
As far as we can tell.
You mean you get to rent 2 great titles for a year?
Yeah.
But again, I bought crap on my Wii U 5 years ago that I just played 2 weeks ago. Like, you know what I mean? I collect this, and maybe I'm just weird. I collect
where's
this
pinball?
Right. I have it. Oh yeah, it's not in there.
Where's Punch Out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean though. Is I have these things, and I will just I'll spend an evening playing 20 minutes of each of them. Maybe I have a short attention span or whatever, but I'll do that kind of stuff. I'll just go back and I busted out, like I was talking about a few weeks ago on the podcast, right? I just busted out the N64 and decided to do the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time because that was where I had saved it 20 years ago and finally went back to it. So I will do this kind of stuff all the time. And to me, paying $20 a year for something, I just want to have it so that when I want to play it, it's there. And otherwise, I feel like I'm paying a subscription for something that I'm not. Well, again, we're going to pay the $20 a year, but I don't see myself getting much value out of this. To me, it's more the collector thing. Go ahead, Jason.
You go through and you basically 100% or I guess there's not even 100% in games, but you finish Super Mario Brothers 3 or you've got far in the game and you want to save it. Is it going to go away in a year? Is it kind of like wasting your time to play it?
Well, you know what? With cloud saves, I would say no. Even if you don't have the game, you've still probably got your cloud save.
But if you can't play the game, if you don't have the game on the Switch to play, you've got
the point of your save data?
Yeah. I think whatever they put up is going to stay up. Except like what
For the
Z
life
said
of
with
the
some with as far as Nintendo titles, but yeah, third parties it's hard to say.
Well, but then again, and then the other thing, when they sunset the Switch for the next console, and this online service goes away, what are you left with?
Yeah, I'm still calling this the Virtual Console. I don't give a shit.
I agree.
I'm not calling it the Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online.
You don't like NES NSO?
NES and SO.
How about
NES,
Netflix?
no.
That's
Yeah,
no
Netflix works.
Yeah.
next
But
one.
whatever this is, we should have a bingo card to guess the other 10 games. It sure as hell should be Contra, but it's probably Super Z.
Oh, you know,
Of course. 10-yard fight.
You want to sell some systems, buddy. You give us online multiplayer Contra.
You were saying, Jason.
I was going to say, what guesses do we have for the other games?
Yoshi.
Pinball,
Pinball, yeah.
Punch
Pinball.
Out,
Wario Woods.
Wario's
Metroid.
Woods. Yeah, I don't like based on the first. Yeah, because right, if you look at the first list, I
Kid
wouldn't
Icarus.
think. Yeah, I wouldn't think it was going to be Punch Out, Kid Icarus, Metroid. I would think it would be like maybe two
Third parties.
titles like that,
Oh.
and then the other 8 will be Wario's Woods, Yoshi, Pinball. That's what I assume.
Do you think they'll have a? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, anyone else have the complaint that they skipped Super Mario Brothers 2? Am I the only one? I'm the only one who loves Super Mario Brothers 2?
Maybe it's one of those other 10s. No, I do love it. It's a great game.
I respect it, but of the games, I recognize it's the oddball.
See, the other thing that this makes me think is, will these all end up only being Nintendo titles? Because why are you going to give us all the Mega Man games if there's a Mega Man Collection 1 and 2 coming to Switch?
Maybe the developers have a heads up on this. Because
there's shit like that.
Stuff not showing up and whatever, and
yeah.
So here's what I'm guessing is certain people have decided to get on board the Nintendo train, and certain people have not. Right, but I still imagine even the people who didn't are going to time some of those releases because they know it's coming.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a stupid Castlevania collection at some point. Well, 4 or 5 Castlevania games, and that'll be a reason not to put them on this service.
And it could be. We could look at it from the other point of view, as that they knew this online service is coming, so they're going to try to make a buck while they can.
That could be too. Before it launches.
I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog might be one of the 20 games or something, but...
No, because it's going to be in the Sega Ages collection.
That's right.
But then that's the thing is, I figure anybody who figures they can make more money selling their own collection and it's multi-plats and yada yada. But games that are Super Nintendo specific or Nintendo specific, people like Konami, I would think, probably are going to be hybrid, right? Because there's a lot of Castlevania games that were not NES originals, but I bet you the original Castlevania and Super Castlevania will be on, Nintendo's service or something.
Konami's always been pretty good about supporting Nintendo's virtual stuff, and were there some Konami games on the NES Classic? Was Castlevania on there? I think.
Yeah.
So
and Super Castlevania is
pretty good,
on the Super one.
But eventually, will this bite into sales at the NES Classic when it gets reissued just a month or so before this comes out? Oh.
To me, it is appealing to two different kinds of people that want these things, but I doubt it.
It's only a third of the price and a third of the games.
Well, I think there's a certain hardcore fan that's going for the NES Classic, like me. Because I'm pissed I didn't get one the first round. Neither of you is really cares, right?
I care less as time goes on. I really wanted one.
Yes,
at first, but I saw the Super NES two or three times in stores and was able to pass.
I saw one just a few days ago. In fact, Super NES Classic Mini.
Took a
Yeah, they
pass.
still Nintendo seems to have worked it out where they're never in stock, or well, not never. But you know what I mean. They're not regularly in stock, but they pop up often enough that you can find one if you're just kind of occasionally keeping an eye out. This is exactly how it should have been with the first one. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is the amount of effort I put in. Was I would just, when I was at the store, I'd check, or every once in a while I'd make it, draw. Oh, I'm near the Target, I'll just drop in and check, or I'm near the Best Buy, right? If you do that, you can get it at a Super Nintendo Classic, no problem right now. But you have to, you have to put in a little bit of effort, and that's just right. They nailed it. But that first one, I'm still pissed because I just, again, they know their fan base is people of adult age with jobs and potentially kids and whatever, and it's just like, come on, guys, don't. I mean, I know you gotta make headlines with lines around the block.
I still think nailing it would be it's just always in stock, even if it's 3 or 5.
No, because I'm nailing it from their perspective, where it's a desirable. It's still desirable, and it's still a little difficult to get, but not. You know what I mean? They want you to have to put a little extra effort for their products, right? It's Disney. It's this.
They want you to say, "I got one."
Yeah,
I actually got one.
Yeah, but they got to make it so that you can actually fucking get one. And again, I agree with you. I wanted that NES Classic so bad when it first came out, and now I'm still going to buy it because I'm a sucker, but I'm not excited about it. The same way I wasn't really excited when I bought the Super Nintendo Classic. It's like, okay, I got one. Just check it off the list and bring it home and feel like a dipshit for giving Nintendo money. And that's how I feel about this. But when it first came out, I would have totally been excited. I just, again, they're just gradually burning me with everything they do, to the point that it's just like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like when you have a friend that when they call you up, you answer like, "Hey, how you doing?" Now I'm to the point where I'm like, "What the fuck do you want?"
Could this possibly also open up the option, since it is NES only? They could put out a wireless NES controller that you could use to play these.
And see, here's the thing: is there's something weird going on with 8-bit Do or 8-bit Do or whatever the hell they are, because it's like they produced these things that were very obvious clones of original Nintendo hardware. I never heard anything. I never heard a peep about any sort of lawsuit or anything. They produced them. They went out of production immediately on their website. Like all of those products, even like immediately after they came out, they were like no longer, discontinued products. So they're listed as discontinued right off the bat. So you know what I mean? They knew they would be drawing Nintendo's ire. To me, there's something fishy going on, and I'm sure I'm pulling this out of my ass.
You think they got a deal?
I suspect they have some sort of deal with Nintendo, and if Nintendo were to be producing an original NES controller wireless, but this is the best hardware partner to do it. If anybody at Nintendo over there, they're looking into, what's that organization, some think tank to come up with new ideas?
NAMBLA. I forget. We talked about it a few weeks ago.
We talked about it last week or the week before. But right, they're think tanking all these new concepts, and I think that this really figures into that. Selling retro hardware, and if their people over there have any brains in their head, they've looked at 8-bit Do's hardware and said, "Oh, these guys make pretty good shit," because they really do. Again, the quality of the stuff that I've gotten, and I'll rave about it because I'm just a fan, but like, to me, it's nicer than any of the Hori or PDP or whatever third-party hardware I've gotten over the years. It's just all around, just a little bit more polished and a little bit more perfect, And if anybody over at Nintendo is looking into partners and is smart, they're looking at this and going, "Wow, this is good stuff. We should partner up with these guys." So I'm cautiously optimistic that we would see stuff like that. We'll see.
I'm going to throw out a counterpoint to that, and we're going to get into Joy-Cons later, but to me this just sets up, when this comes out, NES-style Joy-Cons, Super
Yeah.
NES-style Joy-Cons.
They've been hot in the custom market.
Yep.
Well, like themed. Oh, like, yeah, the way they do the 3DSs.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you there.
Maybe redo the D-pad. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe the NES ones would come with an actual D-pad as a special limited edition.
Yeah, potentially. But I see. Here's the thing about that, though, is that I think if you want to be able to use it as a sideways thing, those old games, a lot of them really are just better with a D-pad. And I think you need to lose the stick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, a Joy-Con will never be a single Joy-Con will never be an optimal solution for playing an old NES or Super NES game. And so that's why I agree with you, Jason. I think we would see both. I'm certain we will see NES and Super NES themed Joy-Cons at some point, and God knows what else. But I'm also think there's a fair possibility we will see Nintendo officially licensed wireless NES controllers out of the likes of, if not 8-bit.
It'll be available through My Nintendo in Japan only. for 100 platinum points.
Probably.
All right, so we've talked about most everything with the online service, but we have not talked about pricing. So
we sort of did.
We sort of did, but we haven't got into the details of it.
A breakdown of the monthlies and the quarterlies.
Yeah, and the families.
Oh yeah.
So
which I'm already trying to scheme on.
Yeah, we've already discussed this a little bit. So I mean, you've got your individual memberships, which you can get in 1, 3, or 12 months, which are $4, $8, and $20 respectively. Or you can get a family membership for $35 for 12 months. And this basically includes 8 people. And of course, we've all said, we could probably scare up 8 people.
Yeah, we can go in for $5 a pop or $3.50 a pop and just split it. We'll have to see the details on that. I don't know if it says on this page. I think is it May 15th. They said that you can start registering for your family, which is weird, but they're doing that so early.
Well, here's another clarification, and I know that we kind of talked about this before, and I don't think the news dump cleared this up. There was speculation as to if the account is tied to you, like, do other people using your console, like if I log in on my console with my wife's account, does she get to use the online or not? Has this been cleared up by the news dump?
She does not.
Nope.
So therefore,
if she's in your family,
that's what I mean is I have the suspicion that the family membership only applies to a single console. Have they clarified that?
They have. It can be separate consoles.
It can be
up to 8 separate consoles. Because one of the questions in the FAQ section here was, I have multiple Switches in my home. Do I have to buy individual plans for each one? And it said, no, you can just simply log on to your account on your other Switches and use them. And I said, what idiot in their house has like 4 or 5 Switches that they just go between? Like, everyone's going to have your own individual Switch. It's not like, it's not like I have 4 that are just for me all in my house, like a 3DS.
Well, I guess that, again, they're probably thinking of 3DS owners, but it's still, to me, it's like in the vast majority of cases, it's going to be a single Switch per household. You're going to have more than one, or maybe you won't, but right. If it's just for you, this is fine. But it's, to me, it's a little bit dishonest to say it's $20 a month, but like
it's strictly $20 per person.
Yeah, per user, or $35 for a family, which is good. I mean, they could have not given you that option and said it's $40 if you got a kid, $40 if you got, like, Eric and his sister share a Switch.
If you have more than 2 people, it's a deal. $5 off is not that much of a deal for 2 people, and I imagine most family accounts, vast majority, it's going to be for two. Like in my case, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I have a wife who every once in a blue moon will say, I want to play some Splatoon or something. I want to try it out.
Well, she can play on your account.
Nope. No, she can't. Because I've tried that. I tried that on the Wii U, and it's just a frustrating experience for her and a painful for me to watch. But it's right. I have a feeling I'm going to end up paying the $35 for somebody for a second person who probably was going to want to use it once or twice a year. So that irritates me a little bit.
What about you? I know you've got a young daughter there, so you're going to opt for a second account just so she can play.
She ain't ready to get beat down online yet.
Yeah, she doesn't go online really. Although I wonder, do you think you'd have to have online to play Mario or Luigi's Balloon World? Which she doesn't play, but
ooh, that's an interesting question.
It's not listed as one of the games. If we go back on the first page, it does list the games.
Yeah, and it said it basically said more details on what other games you'll need, because it did say not all games will require it.
Right.
Which we posed that question for a week.
To me means mostly third parties.
Yeah, like I think Rocket League, which has its own servers, that one might still stay separate. Doom possibly.
You know what? And as a random point of note, like I think I've tried Mario Kart and Smash Brothers online here and there, but like it's never been a thing for me.
No.
So I don't care. Honestly, I can't it's only the new generation of stuff. Like, and really, like Splatoon and Sub Wars are the only online games I can think of, Nintendo specific. Yeah. Well, Animal Crossing. I'm sorry.
But people do love, and Pokemon when it comes out, but people do love Mario Kart 8 online. I mean, there's a lot of people that play that and play with their friends online and stuff like that.
Okay, well, that's true. We have had some Mario. I forgot. We've done some Mario Kart rounds amongst our circle.
For a long time, I hosted weekly meetups for Mario Kart on Wii U.
And see, here's the thing. Here's something that irks the crap out of me on the Switch is I wish we could just occasionally, just on a random whim, hey, let's all jump into Mario Kart we haven't played in a year or two. And we can't because
only two of us have it. Oh.
Yeah. Because not everybody, and fair enough, not because I'm in no way trying to nag you to buy it, Jason. I shouldn't have bought it myself, right?
This just has no value without you.
But but no, that's all I'm saying. I'm just it's irritating that because of the way they handled it, now we're in a scenario where my friends may or may not, where it's a fractured setup where my friends may or may not have Mario Kart, or, well, no, that's not even true. All my friends have friggin' Mario Kart 8, but they may or may not have the version that I can play with, or you know what I mean? Like, we'd have to all jump on the Wii U.
So you want Wii U Switch crossplay is what you're saying?
No, I want them to have offered some kind of deal for Wii U owners so it wasn't a fucking fractured environment. I would play more Mario Kart if everybody had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Hey man, they offered us a system that people are actually buying.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, man. This just was to me. This was yet another reason down the road that I'm looking at it and going, that was just a stupid. Like,
why did I buy that?
Not only was it customer, not my stupid decision to buy it, which was, but it was a customer unfriendly decision on their part. And it was a you know what I mean? It was also just kind of a poor decision because I think it hurts them in the long run to have the fractured player base. More people down the road, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If some kid gets a Switch a year from now and every one of his friends has Mario Kart, he's going to buy it. But if he gets one down the road from now and half his friends have it because some of them bought the Wii U one, didn't want to rebuy it, but he's not motivated to buy it. Like, you know what I mean? It would be it would have a bigger attach rate overall if they just had dropped the price a little bit, and I think it would make them more money down the road as an evergreen title. But screw them; they're all about getting as much money out of you up front and giving you as little as possible. And I really think
just like a company.
Just like a shady company. there are lots of companies like Disney makes an effort. Like if you've been to a Disney park or any sort of Disney thing, they make an effort to make you feel like you're getting value for your dollar.
Be our
Like,
guest.
you know what I mean? You pay a lot to go into Disneyland, and you know what I mean? There's probably as many staff members in Disneyland as there are, employees or whatever, as there are customers in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just they do try to go out of their way to provide this, quality experience.
Yeah.
And Nintendo, on the other hand, will charge you $60 for a side-scrolling Donkey Kong port from 3 years ago. Like, you know what I mean?
With funky mode.
Nintendo's missing. Like, Nintendo's got a valuable property. Don't get me wrong, but they're missing the point on providing real value. I mean, here and there, Breath of the Wild, right? They got something like Breath of the Wild. That's like the shining crowning achievement. But then, everything on the periphery just feels like, hey, give me $1. Hey,
by the way, I'm gonna take us off topic just for a second. So I'm convinced that model Chrissy Teigen is on the take. So back when Animal Crossing Pocket Camp came out, she was, tweeting about how great Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was and how much money she's already spent and stuff like that, and how she really wants a new Animal Crossing game. Well, she just had a tweet go viral yesterday. It's like, why didn't anyone tell me about this Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on Switch? This game is amazing. And I'm like, okay. First Pocket Camp, now Donkey Kong.
we know that you're a liar at this point. We know you're being paid to say this.
Maybe not, but it's just
very likely.
I was just like, anytime somebody says they love Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. So, no, I've heard a lot of people. I remember when it came out on Wii U, a lot of people loved it.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. It's a well-produced side-scrolling platformer in 2018.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. It's a beautiful one, but it is a side-scrolling platformer in the modern age.
So, you can get this flustered over Rayman Legends coming out on Switch.
Yeah, I agree. Who cares? Rayman Legends on Switch was $20 like a week after it launched. I think you were saying something, Jason.
I was just saying, just to add to the suspicion there, I mean, why this game? Why not Mario Odyssey or
Arms is fire?
Yeah, Arms
probably has, yeah. But I know. We know this. This is how marketing works in the modern age. YouTubers and internet celebrities are, quietly paid under the table to, promote products as if it's just a casual, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
That's just the way things work these days. And for us old people, it's a nefarious thing that you've seen, kind of presaged in sci-fi novels, but that's the world we live in these days. And Nintendo is all over that shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've covered the online service pretty well.
Oh, we could rant about this for like 3 hours.
Wait, can child accounts be added to the Nintendo? Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, so
that was on the page there.
I'm curious to see what will happen once the 15th rolls around and there's some registering and hopefully more information will show up. So
yeah, we all have to live in the same house, same address, in the same state. Or could you and 8 friends just split it 8 ways?
Would be interesting.
I have a feeling there will be some sort of like we'd all have to have this, be using the same credit card or something like.
Well, yeah. But I mean, you guys could all send me money on Google Wallet or Facebook or whatever. And
no, but I mean, it's gonna be.
What I wonder is, what if how there's like an option to add your friends locally, like by syncing up your Switch, where you have to like push the same button at the same time, like they did with Miitomo, to add friends locally. Wonder if they'll do something like that, where to be on the family account, they all at least have to like sync to one another and be in the same place at the same time.
Oh,
But how
maybe.
could you? How could you do that if there's more than one account on the same Switch?
That's true.
What do you mean?
Like if you need to have two accounts open at the same time and you only have one Switch.
Okay, so that they could probably tell they're on the same console.
Well, I just imagine I would have to like give you all my social security number or something that I wouldn't necessarily want to do, or something. You know what I mean? I imagine there's some sort of deterrent.
You wouldn't give me your social security number?
He's already got mine.
You're the like. I actually would give my social security number to about everybody in the circle except you and probably Eric.
But we love you guys.
Yeah. Eric could run your credit or something.
But that's why we love Eric. But yeah, that'd be But think about it. When we're setting up our Nintendo Network IDs, what is required? Because I know me and Mo have set up Japanese accounts and
European ones.
And European ones. And an email address and a password, right? The username.
Yeah. They take you on faith.
I
assume as long as they're getting $35, they probably don't care, but we'll see.
Be interesting. Might be worth a try. So.
Wait, are you talking about setting up accounts in other countries?
Well, he's just saying how easy it is to prove, yourself. You don't have to give any personal information to set up a Nintendo Network ID. You give them your email address, and they send you a verification email address, and that seems to be good enough for them.
Yeah, but as soon as you're buying stuff, it becomes something different, or as soon as you're paying money, right?
I buy stuff on the eShop all the time.
Yeah, and you could very easily buy it from the Japanese eShop or anywhere else.
I thought you were telling me you had to have like a foreign credit card to do this.
Well, for Japan and Europe, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You have to have a credit card from Japan or Europe, or get an eShop card from one of those countries to be able to shop for it.
But that's not Nintendo asking for more personal information. They're not saying, "Hey, you can't have this Japanese account because you don't live in Japan."
Well, that basically is what they're saying. Well, I mean, they're saying you can't buy anything on the Japanese eShop if you don't effectively live in Japan, or at least have a Japanese credit card.
I guess so, but
I don't know. I will see. I imagine as soon as money's involved, it's going to get way more complicated. Right?
Right. And this setting up is just for family memberships, right? Not for individuals. If I'm understanding that right. This early setup on the 15th.
Oh, is that the case? That the early setup on the 15th is only for families?
Right.
So not individuals. So we won't know all the details. Yeah.
Like I said, it seems weird that they're doing it so early.
But not, I don't know. It's kind of odd.
You want to make sure you've got everyone in your family set 6 months in advance.
And who knows what all the pre-registering is. It might just be inputting Nintendo Network IDs or something, Who knows?
Send a photo of each member of your family.
holding the Switch.
Holding your Switch.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing, and if anybody out there listening is planning on doing this or has family they're going to add to it, let us know how it happens and what you think of it.
I guess I'll do it because, like I said, I'm
that's right. Wife. That's right. You are tied into it. So,
does she ever play?
Not since the baby. She watches me play. She was watching me.
Oh yeah.
Finish Snake Pass the other day.
Oh, that makes her happy. Yep.
That's all that's important. All right. So, keeping the ball rolling here, next topic is one that we've talked about before, and of course, talking about Labo. We got some launch numbers from the UK this is the UK's physical charts for the first week of Labo, and I thought these numbers were really interesting. The Variety Kit ranked number 3 out of the best sellers, while the Robot Kit was number 20. And if you're wondering what the top 2 were, those were, of course, God of War and Far Cry 5. So, interesting.
2 titles, Well, the God of War is an exclusive. Far Cry isn't though. And I don't think that's never coming to Switch. Right, Nintendo launches the weird cardboard thing, and it's neat, and we've talked about it, and it's cool, and I bought it, and Barry bought it, and pretty much nobody else. And we've seen, like, I've checked my stock at my local Target. We've all been doing that and Best Buy and whatever, and they're selling one or two. So those numbers from the UK charts, honestly, Labo at number 3 kind of surprises me. I thought it might even do worse. Most people just don't. I mean, oh, that's neat. I am paying $70 for a box of cardboard, though.
Yeah.
That's how most people see it. Go ahead, Jason.
I will update my local Target. I did drop by there over the weekend, and they had sold, looks like 2 each of the sets. So someone bought them.
Yeah, well, exactly. 2
scalpers. Well,
right, like my Targets. You can tell there's. It seems like every picture I've seen, it looks like there's 3 of each box.
Yeah.
Or right, there was 3 and there's 1 or 2 missing. Like, and I don't know, maybe they're restocking them from the back or something, but I don't.
No.
I don't think this is a thing.
I think the box that they come in is sort of a display, and I think that's probably when they get more, it comes in that same box, if that makes sense.
What?
The box where we're seeing them missing from. Maybe everyone doesn't have this, but
I just see them on shelves. Yeah, I don't have like an actual display.
Oh, you actually do have a little display? I see.
Yeah, but it's just like a little base where they sit into and a little back on it. Like you would see for a candy bar or playing cards or something.
Like a cardboard Labo display.
So you're saying that the whole thing just comes as a unit with the display, probably? Because after all, it's all cardboard.
It's true.
That's right.
It's probably the displays are probably made by the same company that makes the Labo. I'm sure.
I'll have to check on this, but I think the inside where the Labo sits into is plastic. If that is, what a crime.
Yeah. They should have a free Labo something.
Yeah.
As a promotion. Make some little tiny thing that you can go home and play with that you can pick up in the store for free.
Yeah. Something that's the size of a sheet of paper or something that you can make something super simple and basic, and then there's a little downloadable
code. Yeah,
a little downloadable code. Oh yeah, code just printed on the your sheet of cardboard that you just go punch in and you just get that little thing. That would be that would make sense. That's why Nintendo won't do it.
The Labo man.
I wonder when we'll start seeing in-store events like Best Buy or Toys R Us in the past have had, or GameStop even.
They got to be planning them in the wake of numbers. They got to be planning them in the wake of the launch numbers. They're like, ooh, we better start doing some in-store events or something. Nobody's buying this crap.
Oh, they'll be doing a summer tour where they go to all these stupid malls that are
nowhere near
miles away from me. Yeah.
But it's you look at it on the charts and it's beat by the kinds of stuff that that Nintendo people don't get. That's irritating. Here and there we're throwing a bone like Doom or Wolfenstein or Skyrim. Thank you, Bethesda.
Or Dead Souls eventually.
Yeah, just someday.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls someday. Or we get a bone here and there, but it's just the kind of stuff that keeps coming out on other consoles. It feels like it's like a 10-1 in terms of AAA quality titles that they get versus we get.
Yeah. Well, right. I mean, those
cannot
systems
live on
are
Breath
established.
of the Wild alone.
Those consoles are established. They've had years to have developers jump on board.
Fair enough.
Switch is still getting started, but yeah. Like I said, I think that's going to be an issue forever.
It is. It's going to be, Jason, you're a Mac user. You know how it is.
Yep.
You just don't get everything. And there's all sorts of stuff out there that's like lazy ass devs or whatever. Or there's, whatever. But we're going to be in that same boat where some people will look at it as, oh, I'm just getting the cream of the crop, but you're not, because you're getting all sorts of crappy mobile ports and stuff too. You're just getting, it's just, we live in an era where there's so much stuff that you're just getting some of the stuff, and you don't have access to as much stuff. It's like we have Hulu on the Switch. Switch is like the Hulu, and PS4 and is the Netflix, and Xbox is like the, I don't even know. YouTube. I don't know what you call that. No, it's not the YouTube. It's the what's below Hulu.
Not much.
Oh, which is an exaggeration. They still get all the multiplats on the Xbox.
Yeah.
They don't get a lot of these really specific big titles because they're exclusives to PS4 or something. But
the other thing too is I don't even know how many Xbox Ones are in the wild. Like, I don't know what their total. Are they over 100 million?
Oh no, no, they're.
I don't know. I don't know how many they have, but.
Well, no, they were in. The last time I saw numbers comparing them to the Wii U, they were in the 20 to 25 million. I think I heard recently because Microsoft won't share numbers, but estimates I think put them in the 30 to 40 million range.
Yeah, and Nintendo claims that they'll have about 40 million Switches sold by
end of year 2,
by Christmas, which is not going to happen.
There may be some miracle post E3 that happens.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
What if their big E3 bomb is that they're dropping the price by $200?
That would sell some Switches.
No, yeah,
but that ain't happening.
I think their E3 bomb is. I don't know. I don't know if they have an E3 bomb. I think Pokemon is that's the only way they can hit that kind of number.
If they drop the price by $100 in 5 years of online subscriptions, they'll get that money back.
Like, I know there's Animal Crossing. I know we're all fans to some degree or other of Animal Crossing. That's not going to move the kind of numbers that they seem to think they're going to move.
That's not happening this year. I don't think there's no way.
What,
that
Pokemon
Animal Crossing is going to come out.
Animal Crossing. I agree. I think Pokemon is unlikely, but I think Pokemon will definitely be announced. And if they could pull it off by Christmas, that's the only way that they could kill last year's numbers. Would be.
I think Pokemon is coming this year. I'll say that's my prediction.
Yeah, no, their optimism. I don't see what else they could have in their back pocket. There's nothing else big enough.
It's not as we did forget to mention this talking about the online. When it lists the big titles that you'll be able to use this service for, it does mention Sushi Strikers. So we shouldn't underestimate that.
Way of the Sushido, which sleeper hit that nobody realized.
Yeah, I know we're all just excited to death.
Oh yeah, we're fired up for that.
About as much as we were for Flip Wars.
Yeah,
about the same. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
You never know, though. Maybe it will be.
It might be a sleeper
hit. They're putting a lot into it. I wouldn't have even put it in the company of ARMS, and they're saying like great games like Mario Odyssey or Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, ARMS, and Sushi Striker.
Here's another thing. I know Nintendo said this from the get-go that eventually you're going to have to pay for online services, but people never react well when you're giving them something for free and then start telling them they got to pay for it. So there's been rumblings of that already, and we'll see how big of a deal that becomes, but it could become kind of a thing.
I think people are going to pay it no matter what.
Yes.
It's priced too low.
It is true.
I think people are more excited about what's being added than the negative side of suddenly having to pay for something we've had for free.
Oh yeah, they're excited about tennis and soccer and
Cloud Saves.
Dr. Mario, Donkey Kong, Balloon Fight, Ice Climber.
Yeah, save data.
The bomb. I'll play Mario Brothers tennis. Yeah.
Well, basically,
I don't think
it's a bestseller on Switch. You never played what?
I never
Jason?
played the soccer game. I don't think. Now to think about
I don't
it.
know if I ever played
I don't
Nintendo
like that.
Soccer, honestly. So okay, sure, I'll check that out.
We'll
Every
play a
one of
match
those,
online.
otherwise, I've played to death. Yeah, we'll play on. Okay, so there you go.
It's
There you go. That's
the next
something we
Sushi
would.
Striker.
It's too bad that we can't play 4 players on that.
Well, if they
Who?
updated it, oh, that'd be nice.
Ooh, you know what though? I picked up a 4 score recently on eBay just because, and it was cheap, and it was cheap because it was dirty, and all it required was baby wipes. But there's a surprising number of games that work with it. You know, the old gauntlets, and there's the off roads and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if some of those make their way to this whatever you call this service, that would be cool. I could see us all getting in for a 4-player gauntlet. You know, play a little gauntlet 4-player or something. I could see us doing that. That'd be cool.
Bomberman. Oh.
Or Bomberman. Was Bomberman? I was never a Bomberman guy back in the day.
Not the original NES Bomberman. No, Super Bomberman came with like the. Wait, wasn't there a peripheral that came with Super Bomberman? I keep thinking, but there was a 4 score. It was a multi-tap for the Super NES, so
which was third party
rather than 2.
I never picked that because I never picked up any third party accessories, so I never picked that up.
Well, it was Hudson. It was packed in with a game though, from Hudson. But yeah,
there were a few third party ones. I think.
I'm trying to think if they'll release anything. I'm trying to think of what NES stuff supported the 4 score that has come to Virtual Console.
Did we ever get a gauntlet on Virtual Console? On Wii, we probably did.
If we did, it probably was on Wii. Yeah, it's probably the arcade one.
I'm pretty sure I spotted it when I was traipsing through the Wii eShop before it closed.
It had a Tengen release, so that means it was Sega, right?
Atari.
Okay.
Tengen was Atari.
Anyway, before we
get too
far off topic,
am I crazy? No, Tengen was Atari.
Well, it had Afterburner. That was Sega.
Sega, I think they picked up some Sega licenses and published them as Tengen games. I was watching Gaming Historian, or I think it was one of those recently, on the whole Tengen thing. So that was Atari. But they had somehow picked up Sega licenses. There were also Sega games that appeared on the Jaguar and on the
because Shinobi was also a Tengen cartridge, and that's Sega.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's like Ray. No, that's Ubi. I'm trying to think what there were Sega games though that appeared on Atari consoles on the Lynx and or the Jaguar.
But we never got Tengen on the Virtual Console.
No, that's right. Legal stuff. It'll never happen.
Too much butt hurt.
If you were
curious, Nintendo gets butt hurt.
Just out of curiosity, I did a quick search for games that were compatible with the NES 4 score. There's not that many of them. You want me to run through some of them here?
Is it the wiki? Just bring it up.
Yeah.
Were any of them ever released for Virtual Console though?
Well,
they've never been released for Virtual Console before.
Spot some, because I went through this wiki before I picked it up on eBay, so I know. I had checked out.
Like a Super Spike volleyball, maybe, or something like that.
All right, here we go.
Bomberman 2. So I had the reason I bought what totally got me on the 4 score was I had that beat up old Super Off-Road cartridge, and I was like, oh crap, that's 4-player compatible. So I decided I had to get the 4 score. Decided I might as well pick up Gauntlet 2 for $5 off of eBay to go with it.
You have a hard time finding 4 people that have ever played NES play action football, let alone 4 people who know each other.
And yeah, and own it.
I hear Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat is amazing, by the way.
Let's see, Smash TV would be fun to pick up. RC Pro-Am is one of those stupid.
RC Pro-Am 2.
Or I'm sorry, RC Pro-Am 2.
That's a rare one.
And that's the perfect 4-player. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, oh, I would love to play that 4-player. You could play 4.
If I remember, RC Pro-Am 1 didn't even support multiplayer.
You might. No.
I don't think it even had 2-player. Yeah.
I'll have to
Missed
double check.
opportunity.
My Super RC Pro Am on the Game Boy, I'm pretty sure was Game Link cable compatible for up to 4 players.
But yeah,
I'd
if you
be
look at
shocked if the
these,
NES one couldn't even do 2, but
I don't know if I would ever need a 4 score, but especially not with these. Spot the video game. That's
That
amazing.
Nightmare on Elm Street game would be sweet. I would love to see that. I'll have to see if there's a
That game's
ROM
a
of that
nightmare.
somewhere.
It's awful. Have you not played that game?
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah,
No,
it's
I've never
terrible.
seen it.
I
Oh,
remember
it's
seeing
awful.
it. As a
I
kid.
like any movie,
I'm pretty sure Angry Video Game Nerd did an episode on it, but I had a friend who had it.
No,
I
it's
mean, Friday the 13th is awful too, but it's better than Nightmare on Elm
any of
Street.
those movies that were, or any of those games that were based on movies back during that era. They were just so notoriously awful, and maybe that was a stink left over from the ET days and things like that. But I like it was just a standard known thing. I just would never buy a game based on a movie. I just knew since
Remember
birth
back in
and
the
seeing
80s
life.
when R-rated movies were fed to us as toys and video games, marketed directly at children, like Rambo
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Terminator and
yep.
RoboCop.
I remember the Rambo 3 game was one of the big titles on Genesis at the time.
Pretty sure every Nightmare on Elm Street movie had nudity in it. Then they had the talking Freddy doll.
Yeah.
That stuff never
I
happens
remember,
anymore.
and I knew kids that were weirdly obsessed with those with the slashers. Like Freddy was so cool. I'm going to be Freddy for Halloween. I'm obsessed with Freddy.
I was Freddy for Halloween one year.
Yeah,
as
I
a
mean that's
child.
now. Don't get me wrong.
No, tell me I'm a weirdo.
A modern horror monster is a legitimate Halloween costume. But right, there was, like you said, they were marketed directly to us as children.
Yeah.
Like wasn't there a cartoon of there was a cartoon of some horror? Oh yeah, Toxic Avenger was
Toxic Crusaders, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Toxic Crusaders was that a spinoff of
That was the cartoon version of Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Although I think there was only ever like 6 or 12 episodes made, but it had an action figure line and stuff.
Yeah, like it was directly marketed to children, and if you ever see the first movie, I mean, it's kind of it's extremely goofball.
Yeah,
but it's still like sort of grotesque, campy horror, and it's really not in any way for children. And I don't know. Yeah, I agree, and we don't see that same kind of thing happening today, do we? Or do we?
well, that's because there's no such thing as an R-rated movie anymore.
That's
Everything's
true.
PG-13.
Yeah, that's true. The only R-rated movies are like 50 Shades of Grey that only old ladies go see.
Or Deadpool, I guess.
Which pretty much is, an R-rated superhero movie is in that same ballpark.
Yeah.
There are Deadpool toys and dolls.
All right. Let's reel it back in. Oh, sorry.
That's right. So
we're way off topic. We sound like old men.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's one reason you enjoy our podcast, because we are a bunch of old men complaining about how that's gone wrong.
You goddamn kids in your switches.
Good old days.
So next thing we're going to talk about with Labo is we did have the first unofficial, unlicensed Labo, and it's Nintendo Labo Switch guitar. And as you see, it looks just like a official Labo. Although I do now notice that it says Palais instead of Play.
Yeah, this is something somebody set up in Photoshop, or not even like this is like Windows Paint. Like what?
Oh yeah.
What the hell is this? This is totally just a mock-up.
Maybe like Palais is the name of the company, because it does say Play on the box. But yeah, it's
This is like, I'm looking at this image right now, and this totally looks like something somebody did in Windows Paint. This doesn't look real at all. I I don't buy this at all. I don't think this is real at all.
I don't think China would do this to us.
I don't. I think it's a fair chance that you can probably click a purchase link and give somebody money. I think it's also a very, very good chance you're not going to get anything at the end of
Not
it.
even a box of cardboard.
I don't even think. Yeah, you might literally just get a box of cardboard with no printing or cutouts or
with
anything.
a single sheet that tells you how to cut it into the shape of a guitar.
Yeah, exactly. This is not legit. This can't be.
How exactly would it work? Mo, you're the musician here. How could this possibly work with a Joy-Con?
Well, not with the blue Joy-Con.
Yeah, it's
got to
be the red one anyway.
It had to be the red one, and I was thinking it would have something that would sense the string vibrations or whatever that they're moving.
But isn't that a left Joy-Con, even though it is blue?
Yeah.
Well,
it's the right Joy-Con that has the sensor.
Oh, all right, never mind.
Excuse me. So it would have to be a right Joy-Con.
It's definitely the wrong Joy-Con.
From this picture, there's no way in hell that even if there was a right Joy-Con, it would be able to see the strings because they look like they're in a shoebox that are glued to the top of that guitar.
Here's what you can do. Here's the thing. Those strings might not actually be strings. What if they're just slots in the cardboard that you're putting your fingers over, blocking the light? Therefore,
maybe. I don't know. I was thinking they were rubber bands or something, but no matter what, no matter what it does, it's not going to be what was intended.
Yeah, it's not what you think it does.
Yeah.
Whatever it does is not what it appears to do.
Whatever you're hoping to make it do, it's not going to be anywhere near worth it. Much like other Labo stuff, I think. Once you get it built, you're going to play with it for a second and be like, all right, that sucks. What else we got?
Yep.
Although Z's probably spent countless hours with his.
I've spent countless minutes.
Yeah.
No, I probably about 15.
But you 20. Only built the car so far still, right?
That was all I touched.
So, yeah.
I've just, at some point when I've got, children around or something, I will decide to bust out the next one. But I don't know when that'll be.
All right. Well, going from one sad subject onto the next.
What a segue.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, appropriate.
Miitomo's final days are here. In fact, when you are listening to this, Miitomo will officially be no more. Yeah.
Let that regret sink in that you didn't realize and mark the date on your calendar.
Why can't they just make it an offline Me Photo app, though? Like, you know what I mean? Why can't they just shut down the servers, but you can just still keep the app on your phone to make Me Photos?
Or still read all the questions and things. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have seen some of the final things roll in. The final question of the day has been live. Final Miitomo drop items. Final shop update. We haven't seen the final answer central question, which is kind of unusual. But
what's the final question of the day? Something stupid, no doubt.
It was something like your best memory or what a message you want to send to your
a message you want a heartfelt message that you want to send to all your friends or something like that.
There's like 4 people that still play.
I replied to it. I answered that question as Nintendo says I have to write a heartfelt message.
What was your answer?
Put a picture of your penis.
That was my response. I can't.
Why can't you?
Oh, I could. I guess I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that as a background. I could have myself writing on my penis.
Yeah.
Surfing peen.
Please don't do that. Don't give him these ideas.
Might as well, I'm thinking about.
Or I could just find a much more photogenic, beautiful one online and put that in there.
But I guess I need to check Miitomo on its final day to see if it's like Miiverse on the final day.
Somehow I does. Miiverse was populated.
Yeah, that's true. The only penis I'm sure I would see on there would be yours.
The other thing that makes it less entertaining is it's only people that really that are I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who have a bunch of randoms, but
Yeah, it's more fun to show your penis to complete random strangers all
Yeah.
over the world than it is to just a few of your friends. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. it's like, hey guys, this app's going down. I guess I'll show you my penis for no real reason.
Well, no, in Miitomo or in Miiverse fashion, you can just draw a penis on a piece of paper and take a picture of it and send that.
Yeah, doesn't quite have the same appeal. But yeah, I think it's.
I would say it has far more appeal than your actual penis.
We're not suggesting you do any of these things. This is the opinions of Mo and Zia.
Well, even if we were, it's going to be closed by the time this airs. So.
No, that's true. Fair enough. But no, I'm totally suggesting people do this. What are you talking about?
It's a way to send off. Yeah. Like, hey, I made a me photo. You never mind. I almost took it too far. Yeah.
Topic. We do find out.
Everyone send out a penis for Miitomo's going away party.
Yeah.
I can say this because Miitomo closed by the time we air. So
unless this is the promo for the week.
Yeah, if you didn't send out a penis for Miitomo, you didn't send a dick pic to Miitomo for its going away president. What's wrong? Or president. What's wrong with you?
Send Reggie a dick pic.
Miitomo needs your penis.
Yeah. As do I. All right, Jason, what else we got?
Okay, so we have found out that the Mii will be living on in some form or fashion.
Thank God.
Riding Mo's penis.
Yeah.
As Nintendo will release a browser app later this month. So it's kind of exciting, and it's
a little ray of hope.
Yeah, it's supposed to allow you to edit your Mii for your Nintendo account, and you have to link your Miitomo account to your Nintendo account before May 9th, which is too late if you're listening to it now, but I will try to get something up on the Twitter.
Wait, is this thing already out? Because I was gonna say I didn't even realize
to your Nintendo
link
account.
The thing.
You just have to link it to your Nintendo account.
To your Miitomo? Oh.
Which we did.
Yeah, we did at the beginning. Yeah, okay.
Hopefully everyone's already done that.
Because the app thing's totally not out. But yeah, this also kind of makes me think maybe Mii fighters will appear in Smash.
Perhaps.
The port.
But I'm hoping this will allow us to use something from Miitomo. I don't know. I mean, because right now it's really cool. You can put a costume on your Mii, and that shows up on
my Nintendo
and Nintendo's website. And it would be nice to see that taken further, but there's still something going to be going on with the Mii. So that's
will they let you have all your outfits? You think? Will they let you keep your favorites, or
no? They'll resell them to you for coins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I buy that.
I'm sure this is going to be right. Miitomo goes away. I think they're gonna set this up so that you can buy outfits for platinum coins and stuff. That you know what I mean.
Which would be okay.
What if they did that for Switch, so that your Switch avatar could be wearing different clothes, or
maybe
that's where I was going to go with it. Yeah, that would be nice if it was totally unified.
Because as we all know, what the hell is the point of those platinum coins right now? Yeah. I mean, aside from the very specific in-game stuff that we did here and there, but
I mean, they gave us the Mii in the Wii era, and then with Miitomo, they finally allowed us to dress up our Mii. It's like, has it all been for nothing?
Yeah.
Mii's aren't worth having if you can't dress them up like little dolls.
Especially, you can pay money for the outfits
and show all your friends.
Because they'll start with platinum coins, and watch they'll be fancier outfits that are gold coins, and eventually it'll get to the point where for $1 you can get a Waluigi outfit for your Mii or something.
Yeah, they never offered that. I kind of wonder if they would do that. Yeah, if they'll have some kind of crazy Mii editor. Although it's really dumb. I mean, it really would be for kids. And adults would misuse it somehow.
We all use it.
We'd misuse it, but no, we'd be, adults would be embarrassed to admit. I think there'd be as many adults using it as kids.
Yeah.
We all have our Mii as our account icon, right?
Yeah, I think so. Max does not. Max uses a purple squid.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part,
of my friends use Mii's, like on my just perusing my friend list. There's just a handful that aren't.
I always wonder if that's the
those are
the
people I
old-
know to be lazy.
If those are the sign of the old school. No, because you got to kind of do more work to get a Mii on unless you make one from scratch.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. So that at least most of the friends that I look at and go, oh, they didn't bother to put a Mii on. I know
They
they're
don't
either
own an amiibo.
they're either well, not even that. They own amiibos. Like at least the few that I'm thinking of right here, they own amiibos or whatever. They're just either not technically inclined, or I know them to be just lazy bastards who wouldn't bother.
But we're not trying to shame you if you have one of Nintendo's lovely icons. That's cool too.
Yeah, yeah.
But to me, it's creative.
That's your thing.
We fully support it.
If they didn't have a Mii, I'm sure Jason would have a Fox McCloud or the Star Fox logo or something like that.
Probably
the Star Fox Zero logo.
I might even
that one on there yet.
I might do the squids like Max or Inkling because that is kind of my jam.
We'll see. I expect premium avatars to be a thing at some point.
Yeah, for money
on my Nintendo. Yeah.
Yep.
So goodbye, Miitomo. You've
or you'll get one as a pre-order bonus, right? For something.
Yeah, pre-order this game. Get a set of however many icons from this game.
Hey, that's how I got the wife a Detective Pikachu 3DS theme.
Nice.
Oh yeah. You have to pre-order for that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it'll be treated a lot like the 3DS themes have been treated.
Yeah. So. They did that with the NES remix on 3DS as well. Although that was like for the first year, if you bought it, you got a 3DS theme that was exclusive to it.
Oh,
do you think they'll announce themes at E3 this year for Switch?
No.
I think it'll just come as a update to my Nintendo at some point.
Yeah,
I wonder if they'll outlay some more stuff at E3 about online like that. The stuff they're holding back.
I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll hear any more. I think we'll get a direct. If this is really going to happen in September, we'll probably get a direct in August about it.
You're still not sure it'll happen?
I'll never be sure with Nintendo.
Yeah, no.
I think it's likely, but not.
They're like, in hindsight, we will only be releasing these 10 NES titles for right now.
No, I think all their stuff's on track. How ready it'll be at launch, I don't know, but I think it will certainly launch in September.
It's like I went to pass the controller to my friend, and he just disappeared. The stupid Nintendo server.
What was it your buddy said? Jump, jump, give.
Yeah, jump, jump, give. Don't mess up the rotation.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the whole passing the controller. That's no one's gonna do that. Like it would have to be like their dream scenario would be a dad in Iraq and his child can't beat a boss, so she passes the controller digitally to her dad, who beats the boss for her and then passes it back. That's best possible scenario.
Nintendo marketing wants to talk to you, Mo.
I know. That's the best we could do with making anyone care in any way about passing a controller back and forth.
Sharing the joy, you mean?
Yeah, sharing the joy digitally. Yeah. Kind of.
I'm surprised "Share the Joy" didn't become one of their marketing taglines.
It is.
Really? Why haven't I seen it anywhere?
It was in the investors meeting.
Oh well, yeah, sure, but I meant like from the get go, like
you don't see a commercial.
Yeah, like I figured that would be like on every commercial. Like I figured something like that would be as prevalent as the snap noise, but no.
The snap noise has really gone away. By the way, if you notice that,
it's just at the beginning of trailers for games.
Yeah.
when they
But I
show
mean,
the Nintendo Switch. Yeah.
there's no Koizumi on stage snapping or.
Well, but like the commercials still use it, right? At least all
Yeah,
the
at the
ones
very
I've seen.
beginning of commercials, they'll usually show the Nintendo Switch Domino's logo and
Yeah.
have it snapping down.
Domino's pizza with 2 blocks of wood slapping
Yeah.
together.
But people get it now. People understand what the Switch is. They don't need to keep.
I still hear kids talking about it. Like, and again, I married into an Asian family, so we were at some big Chinese buffet restaurant place, and so I hear the little Asian kids running by talking about Mario Kart. Um, you know, it's a
And you
thing.
open up your coat, pull it
Yeah,
out.
I was tempted. I had it in the diaper bag. I was tempted to go, hey guys. But no, it's I you know what I mean? Just casually, just whenever I'm find myself around random strange children, which is more often now that I have a child for some reason, or at least I notice them more, like when we're in a restaurant or whatever. And so I just hear it, or your ears perk up when you hear someone talking about Nintendo anyway, right? Because we're all just dorks that
Of
way.
course.
It's like when you hear somebody say your name. So right, so I've noticed here and there out in public, whatever, I hear little kids talking about it. It seems to be a common subject of conversation amongst the little children. So they've nailed it. And again, it's like horror movies were marketed to us as kids. You said, Mo, it's the same kind of thing. It's right. The older kids and even our age group are what the little kids are looking up to and what the little kids want to buy. It's like us. And like, I had older sisters that turned me on to all the good music of the 80s when I was little. And right, it was the bigger kids I was watching in arcades that were tearing up Super Mario, and I couldn't play anywhere near that well. But that's why when I got it at home, I played the living shit out of it until I did. So we're in that same kind of cycle now where it's and they were smart. They launched it to people like us who would take them around and show them to people, right? People want it, they can't get it. Then they drop, they dramatically over deliver for Christmas, and it gets into the hands of the actual kids who've been hearing about it all year and who are the ones that are bugging their, that's where the real money is getting the kids to bug their parents for it.
And then boom, hit them with a drought.
Yeah. Yeah, boom. Hit him with 9 months of jack shit and then cardboard. Yeah. Nice. Good going, Nintendo.
You got Kirby, you got tennis, you got cardboard.
You got a 3-year-old Donkey Kong. You're good, man.
NES games coming in September. We'll see. We'll see next month.
We'll see. I don't think we're going to find out anything about it next month. I think it's going to be all about the games. It's going to be Smash, and it's going to be cardboard, and then like Dark Souls and crap. Like I don't think it's going to be much else.
Sushi Striker will be a big one.
Sushi Striker.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a whole day at Treehouse.
And you know what? They probably. I bet you they. Here's one thing I will say about the online. I would not be surprised if they were showing off some of the new online NES game functionality at E3. Stuff like that. That's not really giving anything away.
Reggie and Bill passing the controller back and forth in Super Mario Brothers 1.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Or just, allowing people to sit down at a little kiosk with 2 switches and try out that, some of that multiplayer functionality.
Speaking of which, I can't remember. I already forgot. Did the original arcade archives Mario Brothers, just the standard Mario Brothers, did that support online multiplayer or just local? Just the 2-player Mario Brothers.
That is an interesting question. I have no idea.
I bet it was probably just local.
I would imagine just local.
I'm certain. And given that's an arcade port, it would be.
Yeah.
I would imagine a fair amount of extra effort to allow online play. But you know what? That sucks. because I was just thinking about that. I really want that arcade, but they have an arcade port of Life Force that is on the other consoles that I'm waiting to show up on Switch, and I'm going to nab it. But that would make that so much better online multiplayer. Anyway,
no one's gonna play it with you.
Yeah, fuck you.
We're not buying Life Force. Sorry. Sorry.
Have you ever played
What
the
else we
original
got, Chief?
arcade one though, man? That was
Salamander.
yeah.
I've never played any of the Life Force games, as far as I can tell.
I
They're
have it on
Gradius.
Virtual Console on Wii, and I don't like it. And I love
It's
Gradius.
No, but
Gradius.
I will tell you, here's the thing. I bought the NES one because I had played the crap out of the arcade one. And there's no comparison.
Yeah,
NES one is crap.
it's Gradius
by
with
comparison.
vertical levels added in.
Yeah, and not much else. And but the arcade version was a 16-bit game. It was a Super Nintendo quality level game in the NES era. So it was on par with Gradius 3 in terms of quality, but it was Life Force, and the levels were the same, and it was very well done, and it had a good computer voice narration to it, and the music was beautiful. Like it was, you know what I mean? It was just the one that came out on NES was an 8-bit port of a 16-bit game, and it just totally paled in comparison. But the arcade one was beautiful. I will definitely pick that up again. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the neatest features of the Virtual Console games on the 3DS was that they had some of them had the download play capability. Right.
Jason, you better jump in there.
All right, I'm going to take.
Before I keep talking about it was Life Force I bought on the 3DS.
We're going to take a Life Force break right now. We're going to talk about something else that we never ever talk about, and that is.
Oh God, no!
Meow, 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 meow.
That's right. It's fun.
You're a kid now. You're a squid. Oh, sorry.
Okay, stop.
It's good stuff. So we do have some kind of groundbreaking events happening in Splatoon 2, and that is we're getting a series of 3 Splatfests. First of which have already been completed, and we'll get another one this week, the day after you're hopefully listening to this. So we can officially announce, if you haven't seen this on the Twitter, Raph wins round 1, and we did support Team Raph very wisely.
That's right.
I was
going
surprised.
With Donnie next.
I was surprised at the numbers on the outcome. Yeah, but Leonardo, of course, won the popularity. But I guess I don't know how that breaks down. I don't want to even analyze it. But we're doing Donatello next.
Yeah, that's right. That's per our buddy Max's request. As you know, she loves purple.
I guess we should
don't really care all that much.
In case you still don't know what we're talking about, this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed.
That's right.
But
these aren't the turtles.
In case you didn't know, Raphael, Leonardo, and
yeah.
In case those
they weren't having us decide between Renaissance painters.
Yeah.
So the first Splatfest was Raphael versus Leonardo. The next one will, of course, be Michelangelo versus Donatello. And then the next one will be Raphael versus Donatello.
That's right. We're predicting the winner.
Can I just mention?
You heard it here first.
Can I just mention this is a very they could have instituted a slightly more complex ladder system directly into the Splatfest itself, right? But instead they just do it over a series of multiple Splatfests. To me, this is indicative of my complaints about Splatoon.
You think they should have just had one all-out war where you could choose any of the 4 teams? Bring Callie and Marie back?
It's the Splatfest is cool, but there needs to be more variety and more to it. It's a very one-dimensional kind of thing. It's a very simple, and I agree that makes it accessible, but it's like, again, I'll refer to my phone games like the various Supercell clan games. They have like a war system that is kind of this complicated. It's similar to a Splatfest where it's something that's kind of a recurring thing that you can get into, war between the clans, but it's set up in such a way that you can participate or not. It's non-invasive. There's this whole complex set of numbers and things going on that certain people will watch obsessively, and we gotta strategize of this and that. But for most people, they don't pay attention to any of that. They just play, and they get their numbers. And you know what I mean? That's, to me, the Splatfest could have, like, we've complained about, we don't know. There's so many pieces of details that would be cool to know how many people were actually playing, etc., per region, per whatever.
Yeah.
And they just don't release any of that information. You know what I mean? It just seems like they could add a lot of complexity to this, make this a much more interesting thing on multiple levels, right?
Yeah.
From a strategy.
It would have been awesome if they actually allowed you to choose between the 4 turtles and had a 4-way Splatfest where you would actually have all 4 teams, all 4 inks
first
going
through fourth
at
place.
once.
Yeah. Or something. Exactly. That's what I mean.
Super shifty station.
Why couldn't they just, like, it doesn't seem like it should be too complicated. It just, Nintendo erred on that side. It's like an iPhone versus Android, or Mac versus PC. And then, not to crap in any way on Mac, Jason, because I know you're a fan. But right, when I and it's a positive or a negative depending on how you look at it. But like when I click on a file menu in Windows, I might have 30 different menu options that I can choose from, whereas on a Mac I would have 6. And that was always kind of the way I would explain Mac and PC to people, is just it's just the mindset is simple. And so Nintendo kind of has that mindset with Mario Kart, right? And with a bunch of games where it's just, there are no options. There are no video options. There are no audio options. There's no way to turn off the music independent, or turn up or down the music independently from the rest of the audio in a Nintendo game generally.
I think you can. I think you can do that.
Here and there, but where?
In the
In
settings.
what?
In Splatoon.
Maybe in Splatoon. Splatoon might be the exception. And I would bet you,
I don't know.
and I would bet you Splatoon 2 only, because I looked for that in Splatoon 1 and it wasn't there. But right, and I'm pretty sure not Mario Kart, right? Nintendo, my point is, Nintendo errors, you guys agree, right? Most games have a whole bunch of settings. Nintendo tends to have just a couple, and that's it. And they just don't give you any other options. And I just feel like that mindset is extended here to the Splatfest, where they could have done maybe a 4-way Splatfest. Just mix it up a little. Give me a little variety. Not the same.
Being that Battle Royale is so hot right now, I'm going to predict that in 3 years, Splatoon comes out with a Battle Royale. Because when the trend is over.
Yeah, then Nintendo will jump on it.
How easy would it be for them to do Turf War and just turn off teams?
Just have individuals, like everybody's an individual.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, you also have to figure out, Nintendo does 8 people. Those Battle Royale games are like 50.
Yeah.
So like, there's infrastructure, I think, that needs to happen for that as well, that Nintendo maybe doesn't quite have yet, but we're paying $20 a year to make sure they do. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'd be hard to balance too, I think, for Splatoon.
Yeah.
No, because the way those Battle Royale games work is you don't start with a weapon. You got to find a weapon. And so it's like weapons are scattered throughout the world and whatever, so you just pick up what you pick up. So they can, you know what I mean?
Sort of like single player.
Sniper rifle.
Like in single player where you pick up specials.
Kind of. You basically get dropped. You parachute into an area and you got to look around and try to find something. Right. So maybe there's a pistol or maybe there's a whatever.
I mean,
Breath of the Wild is where they'd have to do a battle royale. That's the kind of world they'd have to use, I would think.
Yeah.
Something that's already existing, that's already an ecosystem that's got items and objects that interact with each other and has a physics model. Like Splatoon, I don't think is as in depth of a whole world.
The levels would have to be much larger.
Well, I don't mean that. I just mean the detail of the world, weather systems, and all that kind of stuff. You just don't have that in the Splatoon. And you know what I mean? You need those kind of complex systems to pull off a legit battle royale type game. And Splatoon they'd have to really build that from scratch with Splatoon. You know what I mean? It's just a kind of a different thing.
Agree.
But it would be cool. I would play a Splatoon battle royale.
You will.
I would also play a Breath of the Wild battle royale. I would play a Mario Odyssey battle royale.
I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, that'd be more than a little awkward.
That's just
I don't
crazy.
know how that would work.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't even know how the hell that would work. I gotta find you and jump on your head before you jump on my head.
Shutting that one down. Yeah.
That would be the weirdest. Like, people would be trying to jump back and forth on top of you. That would be the weirdest looking thing ever.
Yeah.
We did get some additions. You were begging for more information on the Splatoon front. Did you notice the extra digit in the Splatfest results? Didn't that make all the difference to you guys?
Oh, the point.
Whatever. Yeah, they added a 26 point whatever percent, or whatever it was.
Ooh.
An extra decimal point.
As a side note, I went back and tried to play like another round or two of the single player, and it makes me want to kill myself. I just find it horrible. Do you guys agree? Or is it like with Grizco where I'm the only one who thinks this?
The single player Splatfest?
No, the single player mode in Splatoon.
Oh.
It makes me want to tear my hair out. It's just so boring.
It's okay. Every level's a little different. It's not bad. It's not the same thing. It's a different game almost.
It's good for a single playthrough. Beyond that,
well, even that, it's like, oh, as soon as you get to the next platform, it's like, oh, there's the thing you were supposed to get on the last platform. So I just
when the scrolls and stuff.
Yeah, I'll just restart the level, or I just won't play it. It's, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, it's, you know what I mean? It's one of those, oh, screw you guys. Like, they're not, like, you know what I mean?
That's replayability right there, Z.
That's, but right.
What about the weapon unlocks?
Nintendo secrets are not supposed to be that way, right? Nintendo secrets are not supposed to be the, you didn't notice this. That's not Nintendo's style.
Like, no, you're supposed to bomb every wall.
You're supposed to look as you go through.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. In Breath of the Wild, that was the whole thing. Like, right, you would never find a chest like behind the shrine, but behind the dude in the shrine. That just is not Nintendo style. Or you would never get locked in a room that you couldn't get out of.
All the shrines had little hidden chests,
but they weren't. But they weren't in stupid places. They were almost always either visible, or there was some clue that you would spot, that you would know the chest was there. And it wasn't a case of spotting it was a case of figuring out how to get to it, right?
Yeah.
Well, those were in Splatoon too as well. Like, there's a grate somewhere or a wall you can go around the back of.
Well, but that's the thing is it's a wall that you have to think to go around the back of. I don't want a level that I have to go, right? That's the thing with those single player things. I feel like I have to look over every ledge and look around every corner.
Yeah.
That's
if
annoying.
You want the secret squirrels, yeah, you gotta have them.
No.
Or you just go online and look up the locations before you play the level.
Yeah, I would recommend that to you.
Well, that's what I mean. If I have to do that, then that's not good game design.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean? If there's
I figure you'll get it your second time when you're trying to unlock the hero.
Not a proper,
whatever.
Well, no, that's the thing is in many cases it is set up specifically so that you see it
as soon as you can't get to it. Yeah.
As soon as you can as soon as you've reached the point where you can no longer get to it. And it's just kind of a screw you. It's just like, oh, I have to repeat this now. Thank you very much. Nope, I just turn it off. I'm just not going to play this shit anymore. Thank you, Nintendo. Fuck you.
Get it on your next playthrough when you're using a different weapon.
I've played too many games over the years that if you're going to be dickish with your game design, I'm just not going to play. That said, I still put all the time into the multiplayer.
Your face, Nintendo.
Yeah, no, I just, you know what I mean. I just won't. I won't do it. It just makes me less happy about it and less likely to buy the next one. Like I still am
So
not. I'm still not sold on our $20 purchase. I probably won't do it because
oh,
I cannot, like, that's again, the single player just makes me want to just hang myself.
speaking of which, not you hanging yourself, but I did see that some hackers have apparently unlocked playable Octolings in Splatoon 2 ahead of
Whatever.
the update.
Hackers unlocked playable Octolings in Splatoon 1.
Yeah.
I think this is the
Those-
legit models that we will probably get.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Those damn hackers.
But it's
Was
like I
everyone
can't play them, so why do
thoroughly-
I care?
Do you really feel like you're missing out on something?
No, I just
playing
mean-
Octoling?
To me, it's only news if there's a cheat code that people can use or
Yeah.
something to get them. If hackers have done it, okay, well, good for hackers. Hackers have done everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all these reports that oh, you can get homebrew on your Switch if you wire up shit through the Joy-Con. It's like, well, okay, good for them. That doesn't affect me one iota.
Yeah.
I do have
All right.
one other complaint before we leave Splatoon Land,
It's about Shifty Station. Oh.
and it is about Shifty Station. They didn't even give us the first Shifty Station again. They give us the second or the third Shifty Station.
Yeah,
Mass disappointment right there.
I
Run
agree.
out
It
of
was
Shifty Stations.
Well, it's not, to me, it was just they picked one of the least interesting ones
Yeah.
to reuse. Like there's all sorts of, I mean, and they've been interesting and they've been cool.
I'd like to play the one that has the like wall in the center that separates the two halves that like has like a
turns.
rotating thing. Yeah. I like that.
I
Yeah.
want to play the one with the drop zones where it's like the center area drops down and the outside drops down.
Like that. It's got the Thunderdome in the middle.
Yeah. What was your favorite? See, you've played most of them with us.
Oh man, I don't. It's hard. There's some very neat ones, but it's difficult to describe. It's difficult to explain which one I'm talking about.
I like the one where the thing moves.
I think when we were
Exactly. It's
Uh,
difficult to say which ones, but the one that I can point out is the very first one because it really seemed like they didn't really think that one through very much because it was just people just fell off that shit left and right.
Was that
Like-
the mayonnaise versus ketchup one?
I think it was mayonnaise versus
Yeah.
ketchup, but right, it was just like whole sections of the floor would just move and there was just nothing under it. And so there'd be somebody chasing you and you'd turn around and where'd he go? That one was fun because and it would happen to you too, but it was just there were more deaths on that map from people falling off it than any actual kills. And that to me that was kind of just part of what made it entertaining. And because I just want something different. Mix it up every now and then. And that was definitely that kind of threw everyone for a loop, that one.
why could this one not have had a underground that could have been a sewer of sorts, or make it a pizza shape, or I don't know.
Big turtle shell.
A big turtle shell. I like that idea.
The sewers would have been cool.
You have a favorite one, Max?
I kind of like the one with the domes.
Stuff that moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the stuff that moved is always cool. The only problem with the domes is I always end up with my teammates on there. So,
Or even though I didn't care for the level as much, I did like having the turrets that one time.
Oh yeah.
The level. You're right.
Yes.
The level itself, I thought was uninteresting, but the just having the turrets on it was very cool. The specific range placement of the turrets was very well done. Right.
Yeah.
They seem to nail that kind of stuff pretty consistently these days. With certain weapons have certain ranges, the turrets have certain ranges, and everything is always just in range or just out of range kind of thing.
Yeah. I'd be more likely to buy a Shifty Station DLC pack that just added those levels into a rotation than the Octoling one.
I would.
I think as they start to sunset Splatoon or whatever, as you know what I mean? As it starts to get late game, that's when I think we'll see shifty stations just pop into the rotation.
Or what if they did a Splatfest where it was all shifty stations all the time and it rotated?
That would be worth playing.
And not just 2 or 3 of them, just like all of them. Yeah, it just could be any one random one.
Or it's a shifty weekend where every stage is one of the random shifty stations. Just do it for a weekend, or just do it every weekend.
Can I mention I'm glad you're here to clean us up, Max.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
What I missed?
You spent how long did we spend talking about penises, Mo?
Oh man, at least 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I was literally.
I know you think we're kidding,
Where's
but
Max?
you're going to go back and listen to this later and realize we're not.
I'll have to make sure to do that.
So let's
Jason,
move on from Splatoon penis.
Well, there is one more little Splatoon tidbit here that I wanted to share, and I'm glad Max is here to appreciate the cuteness of this. There is a new collaboration between Splatoon and Sanrio.
Oh.
So I got a picture here of their promo art.
Hello, Squiddy.
It is Hello Squiddy, basically.
Yeah.
That is super cute.
Yeah, it is.
The Splatoon
and probably Japan exclusive.
Probably, but they are having a voting contest for their favorite.
Can you find Mo? Can you find the after picture of this?
After picture?
This is the before.
I
know you've been collecting pictures of figures.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You got to find an after picture for this.
It's all going to be covered in ink. Yeah.
So moving on from Splatoon.
Jason couldn't get that picture down fast
enough. Oh, there was plenty of time.
I'm sorry, I'm just in a bit of a shock right now. It's just a very interesting episode.
Very special episode.
Very special episode. So, this is one I believe that was suggested by Z, and that is Nintendo has a new partnership, and it's not with somebody you would expect. It is with Random House and Penguin Random House in the UK. So they're bringing basically Nintendo-themed activity and coloring books. Pretty cool looking stuff.
Nefariously indoctrinating our children like Disney.
Yeah. I'm all for it.
It's the 1980s all over again.
Yeah.
Cereal and children's books and, I
will say...
Lunch boxes, pencil pouches.
Shady, man.
This isn't just Mario and Zelda, though. We are getting Splatoon sticker books, so I'm all for children everywhere being into Splatoon.
Oh, but it's Splatoon, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all of it's okay. Mario and Zelda are okay.
Yeah, they are.
I like to think that I'm going to shield my child from all of this, but there is a little pink Yoshi amiibo already sitting on the diaper change table, so he's being indoctrinated whether I like it or not.
That's only the proper way to raise your child. And she needs to have a controller in her hand as soon as possible.
I mean, admittedly, right? I mean, yeah, I could raise my child with the heroin or something. Nintendo's better.
Zelda is my heroine with an E at the end.
Well played, sir.
I mean, they had stuff like that when I was a kid. Like, I remember like sticker stuff and
I wish I still had
books.
those.
Nintendo said years ago that they were, they were going to start kind of doubling down on just getting their product out there, like getting licensing stuff.
I like to bitch and moan, but I mean, right? It's better Nintendo than Dark Souls, or nothing against Dark Souls, but or whatever. I'm just, or Wolfenstein 2. I don't want my small little girl playing Wolfenstein 2.
Adult coloring books are a thing now too.
Yeah, so I mean, I
sticker book with Wolfenstein 2 stickers.
Yeah.
Really?
But right, yeah, no, so okay, so no, it's legit. I mean, Nintendo is the family friendly company. I just
Again, this isn't for us. See, take it
no,
back.
I understand that it's not for us. It's just
Books for children.
it's just that general mindset of seeing them turn into a corporate machine in a way that they
Yeah.
weren't necessarily before. They fell into it before.
They just
and
didn't
now,
know how.
Yeah,
the 80s, they really
true.
were, though. I mean, the 80s,
Everything.
there was the serials, there was the bad
Well,
cartoons.
I know, but that's what I mean is they
Yeah.
didn't. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we just made this box. Holy shit! Everybody in the world wants it, and now it's like we are going to make everybody in the world want
I
our
will
box.
make you want our box. I'll make you want to eat my box of cereal.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean, right? It's a more sinister mindset, whereas before it's like, holy crap, this thing's just printing money. Sure, we'll sell this, we'll sell that. Why not?
I could sell a box of cardboard and you suckers buy it. Oh.
And now it's like, you will buy it. You will buy it.
Yeah. I'm okay with it.
I am too. I fully support it.
It could be
You'll buy
worse.
Yeah.
Sheep. Meh.
I don't know what Jason's gonna do with all those Splatoon stickers, but I know he wants them.
I don't know, for $12.99, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit steep.
Yeah, if they were $5, yeah, I don't know what I would do with them either. I would never use them because I wouldn't want to stick them.
As a side note, a couple of the dioramas. Remember those dioramas, the amiibo dioramas?
Yeah.
They come with a giant page of stickers, both of them. All of them.
Oh.
They're on sale for like $5 or $6 if anybody cares on Play Asia. I think there's the Smash one and one of the other ones is available right now. I don't know how the stock is normally on those, but just as a side note, anybody who cares about stickers, those are cheap stickers, and they come with an
Max
amiibo
likes stickers.
diorama.
You have the dioramas. Would you recommend them, Z?
For $6, yeah. I don't know what shipping is. If you can get cheap shipping from Play Asia, then do it. Yeah, I totally. Anybody who thought about those and was considering them at the time, yeah, for $6, man. I mean, when Nintendo's selling you a $70 box of cardboard, yeah, they're cool. The Smash ones, my opinion, randomly, I will say the Smash one's cool because it just has a little better, display capabilities. There's a few more little shelves to put amiibo on. But the other one that's exceptionally cool is the Kelp Dome little diorama.
Splatoon, yeah.
That one's really neat. The rest are pretty generic and kind of just flat. But those two actually have neat little plastic parts and whatever. Random, totally unrelated side thing.
Well, it's totally related. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so
Because as much as I like to bitch and moan, I'm totally a sucker for all this crap.
Coloring books, blasphemy. Ooh, little cardboard displays for my figures.
Exactly.
I love them.
Fuck you, Nintendo. Oh, please let me buy your shit. Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm like a battered wife.
Cute. Yeah. You don't know how to
I
listen.
hate them, but I love them.
Joking.
Yeah, I know that may not be kosher in the modern age, so I apologize to any one of the two people listening I might have offended. Sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
So the next topic is definitely something that Mo has interest in, and that is Core Gadget. Finally getting one for Switch.
Had interest in.
Had interest in. Yeah, it definitely has its limits.
I watched that when I was a kid.
Yeah. I think that's Inspector Gadget.
Oh.
Since we're doing music.
What's lacking, Mo? You were bitching about what is lacking.
It's well, a lot of people are complaining that it doesn't even have MIDI control, which would be difficult because MIDI is basically like a control language that I can push a key on a keyboard and it sends data to the sound module and says this is a C, this is a D, whatever it tells it which note to play. So some people were complaining that it doesn't have that, which the tablet versions and stuff you can all hook an actual physical keyboard up to, and I wasn't expecting to be able to hook a physical keyboard up to this. But the kind of main thing that is upsetting people, and I think is kind of disappointing, is there's no way to export your MIDI. So MIDI, like I said, is just controlled data that tells what notes are being played and what time. And even on the 3DS one, you can export that to your SD card and then put it into a computer. Like, let's say you write an amazing song and you want to put it onto your computer, and maybe you've got synthesizers and stuff on your computer, and you want to play it in one of those synthesizers, or and do like a more professional
you can
thing.
You can use it as a legitimate music tool. You've done
Yeah,
this, right?
you can. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, to some degree, you can compose music on it. You could use it as, let's say, you are on the train or in the car on a long trip, and you just put on your headphones. You could write a full song, and then when you get home, dump it onto your computer and flush it out a little bit and make it. It makes it a legitimate music composing, writing
Tool.
sketch pad kind of. Yeah.
As opposed to a toy, when you can't, when everything is a walled garden and you can't get anything out of it, it's just a toy.
So yeah, this is basically Mario Paint with a little bit more sophistication on it. It's got all these cool little features, but you can't. They're trapped in the box. You can't, like your save data.
What a weird ass GIMP. And I would hope that gets fixed in an update. But you know what I mean? Yeah. That's like everything's got the Switch catch. But
yeah, I mean it is cheaper, I think, on Switch.
$48.
Yeah, I think it is cheaper than some of the other versions, although it's less featured as far as the amount of sound tools it has. Even
well, that's the other thing. Is it's like, why? I don't understand this. Switch is the new hottest thing since sliced bread, and this isn't like I can't imagine these are technical limitations of the unit. You know what I mean?
I'm guessing it's because Nintendo probably blocks access to the SD card or to writing of the SD card or something like that.
Yeah. That's exactly. It would, if it's anything, I would think it's stupid, logistical reasons like that. And that's just irritating. Because not being able to export, not being able to save there's screenshots. What the hell? I can copy those to my computer. Why can't any other app do something similar?
But it does have little features that other things don't have. Like you can turn your Joy-Con and twist them around to twist the sound.
So it's the kids' version.
Kind of, although I still think a kid would be lost trying to compose music in this, because you do have to know how to put the notes in the right places and space them appropriately in time to make it sound good. But yeah, it has little things. People have, I probably used them in live performance already. I know I saw somebody used a Labo in a live performance already, a Labo piano.
Oh my God.
So because, I mean, you can output out of your headphone jack, into anything.
Real sound system.
So yeah, I mean, you can technically use this to perform music live, I suppose, or if you really wanted to badly record a song from your Korg gadget into something, you could export it that way, I suppose. It's just kind of, I guess it's lacking any kind of professional application,
which just seems like, I don't know. It just,
but it's on a toy. It's on a kids' video game system. So
I see things like this coming, becoming an issue down the road. Like it's already become just such a standard thing that's really irritating. But anyway,
I'll buy it. I really like the Korg on the 3DS. The M0, whatever it is. D1.
There was one on the Wii U, right?
I don't know if there was. There was one for the DS that I don't like, which is the DSN12, which they also released for the 3DS, and I don't care for that as much. But the MO1 is the bomb on 3DS, and I still use it every week, probably, just to mess around. You can make little drum beats and play around, write a song, and then just delete it. I mean, you could save it, but why? That's all I got on Korg. I'll buy it when it goes on sale.
Oh, cool. It is disappointing because I know it's a pretty cool feature or cool piece of software to have, especially on the Switch. But
yeah, I'd love to play with it. I mean, I'd love to play around with it, but at the price point that it is, it's really hard to justify it. They're all expensive. The 3DS ones are expensive too. So whatever. Eventually, it'll go on sale for half off or something. I'll buy it.
all right, we're going to go to a bit of a follow-up here, and that is something we've talked about several times on the show before, and that is the Atari VCS. So pre-orders have officially went up or will officially go up starting May 30th via Indiegogo, which is a crowdfunding site.
Get your credit card ready.
That's right. But you're going to have a bit of a weight on your hand here because it's going to spring 2019.
That's just, it's never going to happen.
I just want to know how many of these they're going to have to make.
I don't see this. I see them declaring bankruptcy after the first of the year. This is somebody I have the highest hopes for this. I really, really wanted this to be real. Every one of these that I hear, I'm more convinced this is never going to actually exist.
I trust Indiegogo less than I trust
it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with Atari themselves.
Yeah, I don't trust.
When they showed up in an empty box at the Game Developer Conference with a 3D printed mock-up, that's, what are you even doing there?
Yeah.
What the hell are you even doing there? I don't. Their excuses are so thin and barely believable at this point. No, anybody who drops $200 on this, in my opinion, is a moron. And oh God, I wanted it. I wanted this so bad.
That's $200 for the box, but you'll have to pay a little extra if you want something else, right, Chief?
Right, there's a couple of versions of this. As Mo mentioned, there's the Onyx version, which is $200, which is just
they haven't even announced a price for the fancy one, have they?
No, the fancy one has a faux wood paneling front.
Good, and there's high quality, genuine faux wood paneling.
That's right.
Yeah, it's basically it's got a plastic. It's like, are you kidding me? How much more are they going to charge for this? It costs them. It costs them probably, at most $10 more to produce the case.
It's a skin, yeah.
And there is one more catch.
They're missing something. There's something missing from this package.
Something you would think would be no-brainer. These don't come with controllers. Neither version.
Yep. No Even controller. Nintendo knows to include a controller.
No controllers. Batshit. That's just nuts.
Now, if this was Nintendo, they would say, we respect our consumers, and we know you have a choice in controllers, and far be it from us to force a controller upon you.
Yeah, now you can choose your own controller.
We need to hit that $200 price point.
What this says,
we would not include a pack-in controller.
What this says to me, because on its face, it's obviously just laughably stupid. But what this says to me is they're marketing this thing as a Roku competitor, really, and an Apple TV competitor, and this is something you're going to control with your phone. Right.
It does.
Well, they're going to have the other controllers available for sale separately.
Yeah.
Well, of course, but and you probably won't be able to play any real games without them. But I bet you they'll have it set up so that you can control this thing with your phone for like Netflix and stuff. And then I bet they'll have like something where you can like play Pong with your phone or something weird like that by swiping the screen. But otherwise, you're going to need a real controller to play any real games on it. But it seems like that's how they're. Again, if this thing ever comes out, which to me is, I just don't. These people do not seem to have their shit together. To me.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement.
Yeah.
And this isn't some startup company. This is Atari. This is
Well,
a company
but
that's been around for
kind of.
years.
well,
Sort
but
of.
it's not. It is a startup company that's got the Atari name. I don't know. Like, I don't know who the hell these people are. I don't think anybody from the original Atari Corporation is involved. There may be somebody, but it was probably somebody who swept the floors over there or something. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. And here's the thing that's so laughable about this to me is they're pinning their hopes on pre-orders and
Probably
like
to fund the console being made. Yeah.
and a crowdfunding project, and everything you've done up to this point has had only the effect of decreasing anybody's faith in you. Like, you need to produce a product before anybody's going to give you money at this point.
But it
Like,
says Atari on it.
But this is what's going to happen is whatever their target is, they're going to get a vanishingly small percentage of that, and then they're going to close their doors, and this is just never going to happen. I'm sure of this.
Yeah, I'd say wait till they're on the shelf before you order one.
No, and anybody who puts their money forward right now, good luck. I don't know how that all works. Hopefully you get your money back, because that's what's going to happen. You're not getting an Atari at the end of this. I'm certain. That's my opinion. I would love to be proved wrong. I will say I would, if there is a product on the shelf for $200 that isn't a complete disaster, I will probably drop that $200. But that product has to exist.
You're going to drop whatever the higher
It's
amount.
called the 2DS. See,
You know what
XL.
I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they give this, if they produce this, I'm on board. I mean, produce it, and it even comes remotely close to what they're saying they're going to have on it. Okay, I'm in. But at this point, you've BS'd enough that you ain't getting a penny.
Yeah, there's hardly any smoke and definitely no fire.
Yeah, that's well put. Moving on, because I grew Atari.
Yeah, we'll continue to keep you updated on this.
Oh, you did throw out the details in our notes here that there's the AMD processor. It will do HDR, which is
4K.
It'll do. I think they said 4K. I assume this is all just video streaming specs, but okay.
Of course, yeah. They could just say it's got anything. It's never going to happen.
Well, yeah, true. Fair enough. But I mean, you know what I mean. They're throwing out specs that put it on par with a Roku. Which, right, a Roku can play games. It's just not its focus. So if they're
my Fire Stick even has games.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're taking that tack and they're like, okay, it's in between a real console and like a Fire Stick or a Roku, where it's more powerful than those, but not quite a real console, but it can still play legitimate games. Okay, maybe. But again, they got to produce it, and let's move on because screw Atari. Sorry.
All right, so we're talking about new things coming along. We've got to talk about new Pokemon Trademark. So this is a very, very unusual trademark. This is from Nintendo and Game Freak. It's basically an interactive trading card.
I don't see this as being all that unusual for Nintendo.
But it's, I guess, not so much unusual. I think it's unusual, though. It's just a weird thing. So the card communicates with the Switch, and basically the card will change appearance based on in-game activity. And
simple color changes would be easy enough to do. You're right. Some of the speculation on what that really means, whether it's going to be an actual screen on a card, probably not.
Yeah, it says the card will have a display screen. So it'll be a character image over a composite image. The composite image can change color, background patterns, etc., like we've talked about.
Well, yeah, but that's I guess it depends on what your definition is of a.
Could it just be a hologram that you tilt the card different ways, and one way its mouth is open, the other way its mouth is
Well,
closed, or something?
but that's what I mean. Is it could be a very simple digital equivalent of that, not what necessarily you would think of as a full LCD screen.
Yeah, because
You know?
it seems like it's some sort of high tech amiibo card.
Yeah, it sounds based on the description, changing a background or a color, it sounds like it's something simpler. Yeah, color, background, and pattern. You know what I mean? Like it seems like it's something that's not
Depending
like.
whether it's hot or cold.
Well, okay, for example, those Kindle the real simple Kindle tablets have that simple e-ink. They're not backlit. You know what I mean? It could be something real simple like that, which would still be cool. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like a full on, like a phone screen on a card.
It does give a little more detail, and I'll read this to you from the actual clip of the article. It says the player can capture the character of the wild monster by operating the player character. Furthermore, the player can train the fellow character and raise its level. The fellow character may evolve in some cases.
Yeah,
so it's going to be changing. I don't know. It's just,
we'll find out at E3.
Maybe I suppose maybe it's more complex than I'm giving it credit for, and maybe they're going to sell this like a card that's $20. But the basic concept is an amiibo, though. Go ahead, Jason.
More than 20.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the concept here, and I think it is doable. But what's the purpose of it? I'm thinking trading card. I think trading card game.
You have a stack of them. Yeah.
I think they just want to sell you something extra. You buy Pokemon for $60, and then you buy this thing for 30 or 40 or 50 to interact with your $60 game.
Like those stupid watch things for the Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon or whatever, those wrist things.
With the Z-stones.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. It could be something like that.
I imagine it's something like that, but then why the hell is it a card? Like, to me, unless you can have a stack of these, why is it a card? Why isn't it just an amiibo with a little screen thing on it, or, you know what I mean, a little figure that has a color changing base, or
they've got a surplus of 3DS screens.
That'd be awesome if these were 3D. They aren't. But I mean, you know what I mean. I don't know. It's a weird one. I agree, but it to me it totally figures into right. It's always amiibo cards. Everyone knew those were coming, so this to me seems like kind of an extension of that. But again, we'll see what form it takes. If it's that's what I mean. If it's something really simple and these can be produced cheap enough that you can have a deck of them, as it were, then sure. But if they're an expensive item that you can only have one or two of, I don't see the point.
How much per card is unreasonable? I mean, $1? Could you pay $1? Would you pay $11 for a pack of cards?
I could see Nintendo asking for $1. Whether that's reasonable or not is another question. But I could see Nintendo asking for that and probably getting it.
They'd get more than that. I also think when Smash comes out, they might even just reissue all the Smash amiibo cards in blind packs.
I would think they'd reissue the Smash amiibos themselves, but I don't know.
No, it'll be interesting.
Pokemon fans will buy anything. This thing's pure gold. We're printing money here.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is ultimately you got to imagine somebody wants. I mean, well, and it depends. If it's your Pokemon on a card, then you want 151 of these things.
No, you want 700 of these.
Oh well, okay, but at least I'm starting. I really hope they do a proper reboot and start from scratch on the Switch, but I don't know if that'll happen or not.
The other thing it could be, I don't know why they would do this. If it can change that much, could it be like you could have a small deck of cards that you could play physically as trading cards, but actually control like the gameplay on your Switch, or as this says, it can even be used on other things like a smartphone. That makes
maybe
sense.
you just are buying the screen and you buy blind packs of digital cards that
Right.
communicate with the Switch so that you can have multiple ones show up on the same screen.
And then it's like a little adapter that you're sliding each card in, or you're sliding the cards into.
No, just
Maybe.
that it
Just
communicates,
digitally.
change the
Yeah, just
picture.
communicates somehow wirelessly.
Oh, okay.
You
We just
change the
NFC. We
picture on the
just
card.
it has
Yeah.
an NFC chip. Yeah, it's just an Amiibo card at that point, and this is an Amiibo
Yeah.
reader with a screen kind of thing. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
I don't know. It's just a really strange thing, and I can't really wrap my mind around it in a way that it would make sense.
But this,
Yeah.
there's been so many patents
Yeah.
recently about like Amiibo type Pokemon type cards that I'm guessing we're going to see this stuff.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, that's the thing is I'm hoping that whatever the big drop of Pokemon on Switch is that it's going to be something new and different and exciting. I don't want Pokemon Sun and Moon in HD or anything of the sort.
Pokemon Rebirth.
Yeah, I want.
I wouldn't mind a Pokemon The Origins type thing, like they redid the anime a while back with the more mature look. I wouldn't mind something like that.
However they do it, I don't, I just mean and I don't even care story wise. I just mean the series itself. I don't. It's grown tiresome. It's an RPG at a very basic level. There's still many tropes and conventions that it adheres to from 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That are a thing because there's a certain rabid fan base
Well,
that wants it
Mario
to
is
be
like
this
that.
way.
You jump.
Yeah,
I mean, like
I
any of
just
those games,
no, but Mario has evolved. They've all evolved,
Slightly, yeah.
There are certain things in Pokemon that are kept a certain way, even though it's arcane and stupid, because there's a certain core fan base that's very, very meticulous about it.
I bet in this one, when you walk around, your controller will vibrate, and the vibration will get heavier as you get closer to finding a Pokemon.
Well, sure, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way the movement works, for example, in Pokemon games. And the way walking works and hatching eggs, and you know what I mean? All of those conventions and numbers of steps and those kinds of things, all that stuff needs to be reworked. You know what I mean? Those things they've always kept the same because people depended on that. That was always a thing for the end game and for the hardcores, right? Is the various aspects of the game that have always been the same way, that they're very specific about and they're very particular about. The way you can get certain particular items for certain upgrades, and you know what I mean? There's just certain conventions. They just have to break it all. They have to break it all and start over, in my opinion. If that makes sense.
No longer an RPG? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they need to let go of a lot of these weird, like, number of steps doesn't necessarily make sense when you're talking about, say, if the game has a scope of, say, Breath of the Wild. It doesn't work. Steps don't work the same way anymore. You know what I mean?
So you kind of want to bring Pokemon into like Xenoblade Chronicles level.
Arguably, yeah. I mean, I want to bring Pokemon into the 21st century.
Pokemon like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I mean, however they got to do it, they need to take Pokemon and make it far grander than it's ever been. Like exactly like what Max said. Like, right, they took Zelda and they made a huge world where it had just been this tiny little thing before. And I just feel like Pokemon's got so much lore and so much of a world to draw from. It's got such an expanded universe, shall we say. Pokemon does. That's all canon. That's all part of the games. That's whatever. And they could you know what I mean? It seems like they could just launch that into something like Breath of the Wild, something big, something that's an MMO, or just, it's just got to be bigger than what it currently is.
Solid points.
Yep.
hopefully we'll get some more info on that soon from Nintendo
At E3.
at E3.
I hope.
That's what we're all hoping for.
Yeah.
Or we get a big Pokemon Direct. I'll take either. So before we totally leave the Pokemon world, there is one little interesting tidbit here that I want to bring up, and that's about Pokemon Go. If you're still an active player like I am, I know no one else here is, got an email this week letting us know that, hey, once again, we're doing Pokemon Go Fest. It's going to be in Chicago. It's going to be very similar to the previous event, it sounds like, from what they've told, which isn't a lot. They are doing one thing.
It'll result in a lawsuit.
They result in another lawsuit. They are
No, but here's the thing. Now, like last time, it was like millions of people flying
That's
from all
true.
over the world.
This
Now
time
it's going to be
five
like
people.
it's going to be like 5
Jason.
people from like from the immediate surrounding county.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason.
They are doing it on 2 days this year, so maybe if they don't get it right the first time, they will the second. And they're doing it the same event, but on 2 different days, and you can't go to both. And
Yeah.
I just don't know.
If you're gonna go to a band, go to the second one. I'll warn you.
Or go to the first one.
But don't buy. Yeah, don't buy tickets beforehand though. Just
Yeah.
wait to see how the first one goes, then buy your ticket for the second one.
Yeah. Plus, the second day, the chicks are all going to be desperate because it's almost over.
So
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I somehow.
The bar's closing. No, they
I
don't want to
don't
go
think-
home alone.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work at Pokemon Go Fest somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the fad has blown over. It's like going to a Doctor Who convention in like 2000.
Ever.
Yeah, or 1998 or something where there wasn't really anything going on. It's in like a hotel lobby. Like,
I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes, and maybe they will have a smaller attendance and actually get some results this time. I mean,
Wi-Fi will actually work.
yeah, you'll actually be able to play the game.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but I just thought I'd bring that up since last week we were talking about, or recently we were talking about lawsuits, and then here they are. It's like, let's do it again.
It's like I said,
Maybe
I think
they're
now it's died down. It'll be less explosive. It's people are. I don't know how many people are going to be flying across country for this one.
And maybe they need to have this to pay for the lawsuit.
That's true.
We gotta pay that guy that's suing us for his travel.
Is there? Do we know if I don't want to put you on the spot, but do we know is there a price of admission for this?
I don't think they've announced anything that far.
Okay.
So it's just that it's coming, and I think it did say what dates, which I don't recall.
I just.
Book your hotel.
They're fortunate people have such short memories, I think. Because they just. And I know you're playing it, Jason, and there's positive aspects to the game, but it just seems like Niantic or however the hell you pronounce their name has just botched this at every possible turn. Like they just really seems like they screwed up everything. I mean, like
they seem clueless at plenty of times.
Like they eventually get this or that right, but not after screwing it up terribly a few times first. Like everything, it seems like with this game.
Nintendo.
No, I mean, no. Nintendo puts out reasonably polished, right? No, Nintendo's actually so weird in the modern age where when they put out a game, generally it works.
Yeah,
it doesn't immediately require a day one download, et cetera, et cetera. They're kind of unique in this day and age with that. But that said, they occasionally put out some crap, and they do piss us off semi regularly. Like at least in terms of, you're right, in terms of business things and marketing things, and it is always 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
I wasn't saying their games. I was saying just more the way they execute things.
The way they execute pretty much everything but their games, yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. Well, I think it is time to close out with our final topic, and we did save a pretty interesting topic for last year, and that is the possibility of new Joy-Con already. So Nintendo filed with the FCC for a new device, which showed the device and the boards, which look just like Joy-Con, and it says this is to address the left Joy-Con desync issue. So,
Well, that's speculation. I don't think it's necessarily announced that, was it?
I don't think so, but I mean, I think that's what
That's
speculation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
And
that's what they're doing.
And I think that's
Yeah.
a pretty. I'm just noting that it's not. They haven't officially said that, but I think pretty much everyone agrees that's far and away the most likely scenario.
Yeah, I'm sure officially there was nothing wrong with the left Joy-Con.
That's right.
Except people's aquariums.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good news if you have chicken wire, or if you have, that you need to move back into your living room, or you've got an aquarium that you just have thrown all your fish out.
Or even if you just want to play your Switch at Shed's Aquarium.
That's right.
Just dump all your fish in the toilet. That'll solve your problem. This is bad news for anybody who bought a whole shitload of Joy-Cons like I did.
I was going to say, who does that apply to?
Or a Switch
Yeah.
at launch. Oh.
Yeah. I really don't want to have to replace my Joy-Con.
No.
Well, it's,
I've
you know
never
what?
really had issues, you know.
And I have half a mind to call up Nintendo support and say, okay, so you sold me, or you made me pay to get my Joy-Con fixed because of the desync issue way back when. Now you're releasing. Do I get a free new one now? Like, what the hell? That said,
no, we fixed yours.
Work. Yeah, the fix seemed to work. I don't have any complaints on the ones that they fixed. One of which I had to pay for, one of which I didn't. And they work fine. I normally I'm a tinkerer, but I just did not feel like opening that up and doing it myself. So I just,
From what I've heard, the only difference is they moved the Bluetooth antenna like either from the top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top. Like they just changed the orientation inside, and that's like really the only change they're making to it.
Yeah.
So do you think that'll be the only change? I mean, I don't know if there were pictures of Joy-Con. Do you think they're going to change anything about it? Will it get updated?
I don't think so. You mean like add an extra feature or something?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
This is just for the left Joy-Con as well, right? So
yeah, that's what I heard.
As far as we know, yeah. It seems like I couldn't see them throwing in something new in this early in the game, and it's like they made that mistake with the Wii Motion Plus and
the left Joy-Con Pro.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing right would be
new left Joy-Con.
That's the only other thing about the left Joy-Con that's suspect would be a D-pad.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see them doing anything else with it. And again, I'd be pretty irritated having already. I mean, that's my fault for buying a set of 8 so early out of the gate when I should know better. But I'd still be pretty irritated. I want more colors. I don't want to have to. I don't want to have these Joy-Cons and those Joy-Cons that you can't use these ones for that kind of thing. That's going to be annoying.
And you could
enough. Sorry, Jason. Go for it.
So we could connect this with the recent announcement that they're going to be updating the Switch to fix the problem with the processor that allows these hackers. So this very well could be going into that just when they
that's true.
the new Switch.
They just decided we're doing a hardware refresh anyway. We might as well
fix everything.
Catch this Joy-Con issue while we're at it. That's true. I didn't think about that. That's a good point, Jason.
Yeah, that's so very well.
They'll stop bending. The dock will quit
scratching. So we will have the OG hackable switches. That's kind of that's kind of fun.
Yeah, with defective Joy-Con.
Yeah, that's easily swapped out.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the other thing. Didn't one of the hacks involve like wiring in through the left Joy-Con? Maybe they're fixing that as part of that hardware refresh as well.
That's a good point.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. If it was the right or left, but yeah. I mean, they're probably gonna refresh hardware as hackers update. But this, it seems like it's just them, not really quietly, but kind of quietly, just trying to address the issue, even though, like I said, to me, it never was an issue. I've never had a problem. But I also don't hardly ever take my Joy-Con off of the system. I don't use the Joy-Con.
I'll also mention, we live in the internet age and we're paying more attention, but these kind of quiet hardware refresh rollouts have happened in the past, right? There were different screens on the 3DSs, and there have been other little, hardware changes behind the scenes here and there over the years. So it's not totally out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Thanks, Nintendo.
We appreciate it. So, I think it's time we wrap up for the evening. We appreciate you hanging out with us and checking out our slightly new format. Let us know if you like it better. Big topic first, and kind of going into the smaller topics later. And so,
if we spend less time talking about penises, maybe we'll get to more topics next time.
We just wanted to give you the big one right away tonight.
I'm so glad I was late tonight.
I wish I was late as well, man. I was here. So, all right.
Sorry, Jason.
It's okay. Well, sort of. So, thanks for tuning in and enduring our interesting topics tonight.
You love
it. Thanks for watching. As always, you can check us out on YouTube if you want to see we're starting to put up some more graphics during our presentation, so hopefully y'all enjoy that. And then as always, you can listen on iTunes and Stitcher, and you can hit us up on Twitter at NOA_podcast. Make sure you put that underscore in or you'll get Nerds of America, which is not us.
Close, but no cigar.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they don't even produce a podcast anymore, from what I understand, right? Or haven't in a year, you said?
So if you've been yelling at them about our podcast, we're sorry for the confusion.
You guys haven't been hearing anything back.
Just retweet with an underscore.
That underscore, yeah.
That'll fix it. All right, so have a good night. See you next time.
Good night.
Good night.
Party on, everyone.